This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Hey y'all, it's good to see you. I took a walk this morning and I was working on some videos, so I did get the missing children's video done. I was in a rush trying to get it done right before the live, and I'm not sure that I like it, so I think I might redo it or change the song. And I did get the video of the goats made, so let me show you the goats real quick, then I'll drop the link for you, Abelis. So here's the goats I've been talking about. Hey! He's enjoying that brush right now. So that's the boy. Mustang. Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Hello. Hello, baby. Hello. Hello, baby. Is that good brush? Okay, so there's the goats. Let me say hey to y'all. Hey, Bad Girl, Indie Girl, Hannah, Abelis, Gray Moon, Bogart, Cara, Princess Pillow, Indie Girl, Allie X, Fawny Donnie, Southern Cats, Chloe Moon, Tony. Good to see y'all. I'm so glad y'all are here with us today. Hannah UK, Tony. Okay. If I haven't said your name and you are here, let me know and I will shout you out. Thank you so much for being here today. This stream I want to talk about, Abelis has asked me to talk about, and I don't know that much about it. She knows a lot, so I was really happy to do this and have her come up and tell us what she knows about this case. Hey, Heathen. I'm super excited to do that because I think we might have done part of the interrogation one time, but this case is really interesting. It's out of Canada. I believe it happened in 2005, if I can remember everything correctly. I could be wrong. Like I said, Abelis knows a lot more about this case than I do. So we're going to talk about it today. I've tried to gather some videos. Hey, Abelis. It's good to see you. All right, so I'm going to pull up this, my YouTube. Let me get the YouTubes up. Okay, so I'm going to start playing the video. Let me know. There's a chat at the bottom you can talk to me through. If you need to talk to me, if you need to ask any questions, you can do that. I know you came up one time, so I'm assuming you know how the mute and stuff like that works. Okay. So I found two videos that didn't have a whole lot of views, so I'm going to try to use theirs. And we'll see if it gives us the case. If it gives us basically a good idea of what's going on. I'm going to start with this one and we'll try it. Let me grab the link to this person. Excuse me. So that I can share it and give them credit. And you guys can go subscribe to them. All right. So I'm going to pin their link at the top. This is the link to this channel. Can't remember what it's called. Oh, they titled it The Tweed Creeper, David Russell Williams, and it's from Just True Crime.
Can you hear me? Yes.
I can. I can hear you now.
I can't see the chat at all. I don't know what.
Okay.
Oh,
So
more.
it's been a long time since I have done it without going in my studio. I think at the bottom there should be like there's 3 buttons and one of them might say chat, but I think it's the third one from your left. If you click that, you might be able to access the chat.
Oh, here we go. Okay. I see it looks weird in here. So I'm not in YouTube now, right?
Right. You're in StreamYard.
Okay.
Yep, everything is perfect. So and you can look at the chat or you don't have to. Oh, hold on just a second.
And now I
can look
can't see. I can't see the video.
Okay. Let's I don't know why. Okay. So in your StreamYard, open up the StreamYard where you're at all the way, and you should be able to see me and you kind of. So it should be at the top of the phone. You should be able to see me and you there together.
Let me see. Oh, here we go.
I don't know if you can keep the. I don't know if you'll be able to have the chat up with the video, but it's
I see.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't have to type in chat. You can just talk if you want.
Yeah. I don't have to see the chat anyway. That's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a multitasking thing. So can you see the video now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So if you want me to pause so that you can talk, let me know, okay?
Yeah, there are a couple of spots where I noticed some things. Like you'll see when he's made commander of the Trenton base, he's standing in front of a crowd and he's saluting, and his hand is just shaking like a leaf. I noticed that. So I don't know if we have to zoom in on it, but that was an interesting thing because his crime spree started after that, I believe, after he became commander. So I think he was so stressed that part of him started doing these idiotic things, So anyway,
is that in the one from the Fifth Estate that
it might be. Yeah,
okay.
It might be. It's not in the interrogation part. It's either it's in one of the 2 Fifth Estate documentaries.
Okay, let me try to pull that one up. Now, with this one, when I play it, I'm going to tell the chat now. If my stream disappears, just wait a minute and I'll keep my Discord up so that y'all can tell me that it's gone, and we'll have to play a different one. So we'll try the Fifth Estate right now. Hold on, let me grab it from my email. I apologize. So we're going to try that one because that has a specific part that we want to talk about in it. And like I said, if my stream goes away or disappears, just wait a minute and it'll pop back up in a second. I'll have to get it.
Can chat hear me?
Yes, everybody can hear you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Basil. Basil, look at you.
He is laying on the bed right here beside us. Give me just a second, y'all. All right, I've got it. Let me save it to this playlist, and then I'll be able to pull it up. Hold on just a minute.
Hold on.
Okay. May 2005. Okay, I need you to save to Russell. Okay. Now I need to close this out. I need to go over here.
Now, don't expect too much. I'm not an expert on this guy, but I've watched the interrogation so many times. Oh,
I don't know a lot. I think we watched part like 5 minutes of the interrogation one time. So I'm super excited to learn about it with you.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, especially the detective who's interviewing
the Queen and Prince Philip in Canada.
Sorry, it automatically plays sometimes. Yeah. So I do know that he was in the Air Force in Canada. That's what we know so far. I am going to
Yeah.
pause quite a bit and read comments to try to keep from the stream up. Okay.
If anybody has questions, I'll try and answer them, like about his private life and things like that. Like he was married, and he was a creep during college years. Apparently, he used to hide for hours in his friends' rooms to scare the crap out of them when they would come into the room, and
Oh, wow.
he would stay there for hours and hours and hours, hiding, waiting for them.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's a little weird, to say the least.
Yeah, I wonder how he got so high up in like the Air Force and things like that, and doing things like that. That's really odd and scary.
And the reason he became a pilot was because he watched Top Gun. That was it. He had no
Wow.
interest in it prior to watching the movie. Yeah, he's a bit.
That's crazy. Okay. I mean, obviously, if he was able to put up a facade and keep his private life quiet long enough to become in the upper ranks of the Air Force, and some friends are saying, oh no, he seemed this way, and other friends are saying, no, I didn't even see it coming. Like he just said, it felt like I got kicked in the groin. It
Yeah.
sounds like he had everybody fooled, and some were and some weren't. That's interesting to me, because I don't understand how you could fool some people and not the other. It seems like he would be that way regardless.
Yeah, I mean, he had a strange upbringing too. Like his parents were swingers, which, whatever, they're consenting adults. But what happened was that his parents divorced. They had met another couple, were swinging with this couple. Then they all divorced, and they all changed partners and remarried to each other, like to the other couple, if I'm making any sense. Yeah. So, I mean, he was a young kid at that time, so it must have affected him too. I'm not giving him any excuses at all, but
No, right. I think it seems like the way he's hiding in the closet, and the way that he viewed women, like wearing the lingerie as you see on the thumbnails and things, I think it might have affected him in a very negative way.
mm-hmm. And children too. When he was arrested and charged, he fought really hard to not be labeled a pedophile, but he was one because, well, you'll see in the documentary, he entered young girls' bedrooms, and he did nasty things on their beds with their teddy bears, and he stole their underwear, and but he fought really hard to not have that label.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy. And it's insane to me that he's leading this whole double life, like, and nobody saw anything. Like he's really good at masking.
Yeah, I mean, he was commander of our biggest base,
Wow.
flying the Queen, flying the Prime Minister, flying soldiers back and forth across the country and things like that.
Wow. I didn't know he was, I mean, I knew he was high up, but like to the extent of flying the Queen of England, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
To be the queen and her royal family and things like that, and know that this whole time you're in the arm, like to find out later that you were in the care of this sick, deranged individual, had to be scary.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're all, security for the Queen is like this immense thing, right? And here he's flying the plane.
Wow.
He could have crashed it if he wanted to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. He could have took him anywhere and done these things to her.
Yeah.
Wow. Insane.
He was feisty, but
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So since the airing of this episode, has he been to court and have these charges been proven? Do you know?
Yes, everything's been proven. He actually pled guilty. So there was no trial, but they did go through everything that he had done. And he's been locked up. He got the the maximum here is 25 years, but he'll never get out. 25 years is when he can first apply for parole, but he'll never get out. Not this guy.
Oh wow. Mm-mm. Wow. Sorry. You asked me, did I see the picture of him in women's lingerie? And they said there's like a whole bunch of them, but I do have a few of them, and I have a
Mhm.
picture of his homicide victims. I will share with y'all in a few minutes when we get there in the video.
Awesome. I think they show them in the documentary anyway. Not that
Oh,
we
do
want
they?
to linger. Yeah. Not that we want to be looking at him in his stolen underwear. He had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stolen items.
Yeah, I mean, with all the burglaries that he was convicted of, I mean, it sounds like that's what he did, and he got away with it, and absolutely nobody knew. Like the
Yeah.
planning that goes into that, and just sitting and watching and knowing that you can go in and get these items and then take them and nobody noticed for so long is
Yeah.
crazy to me. I mean, it just shows his deviousness and his criminal mastermind. And then you look at the pictures of him in the lingerie, and it's like, I mean, I think he had like I don't know how to put it eloquently, but like the sissy boy kind of thing. Like,
Mhm.
he wanted to dress up in women's lingerie, and then you to say, like in a sexual kind of fetish kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I've
yeah.
always wondered if he wore lingerie when he was flying his planes and flying the Queen. I mean, he probably did, right? Because that probably would have given him some excitement,
Yeah.
you know?
He is the type. He is the type
Yeah,
to wear that stuff under his uniform.
yeah.
It's a good point.
I
But
wondered, even in the interrogation, you'll see, look at his shirt. It kind of looks funny. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but it almost looks like there was two bra straps on his shoulders. I'm not sure. You'll see.
right,
You'll
because you
see.
would be able to
Yeah.
see because it makes indentions in your shoulders where the straps are. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow.
He's a creep.
Yeah, absolutely. He got caught in 2005, so I had the dates wrong. But by this time, he's gotten so brazen that I
Mhm.
mean, obviously somebody's going to notice that all of the underwear are gone. So he's gotten really brazen by this point, and he's standing there spanking the monkey by her bureau. Like, wow.
Nice, eh? I would
Ugh.
have had to burn everything.
Yeah. Burn
Or,
everything, padlock the whole house. What the crap?
yeah.
Mm. That is an interesting name. At first I thought they were talking about New Orleans in America. I didn't know there was an Orleans in Canada. But could you imagine being that 15-year-old girl? Like somebody has broke in and you feel targeted, you feel unsafe in your own house. Wow.
Sure. And knowing he had been there, that's where you sleep, That's
Right.
you're supposed to be the safest in your bedroom with your parents next door,
Yes, your sanctuary. He like just came
Mhm.
in their sanctuary.
Yeah.
Mm.
Incidentally, there's an Orleans in France too, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
How interesting.
Excuse me.
Bad Girl said these deviants don't start out unaliving people. They are peepers, creepers, steal panties off a clothesline, etc., and then it escalates.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Hey, Michelle.
Yeah, like I said, like he was doing stuff when he was in college and probably before that too.
Right.
So, he really became an expert at doing what he was doing.
And to get all the way up as high as he was in command, I mean, I think that's what makes this case all the more astonishing that he was able to
Yeah,
fool everyone to that extent.
exactly. I mean, they have psychological tests and they
Right.
go through rigorous exams and stuff to be that high up, I would think. You
Right.
would hope,
Absolutely. He hit a bunch that were right next door.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I mean, on top of that, this is a military base. Like there's extra security there usually. And to have this happen on a military base makes it even worse.
I don't know if I don't think that's the base. I think that's the town. It's not
Okay.
like I don't think they were living on the base. I could be wrong. They
Okay.
had two houses. They had a house in Ottawa, so I'm not sure if it's this yellow one right here, because later his wife was renovating a house, and I don't think it's this one, but they also had a cottage type thing on a lake
Oh, wow.
further away, and then things started happening there too. So the police were able to later look and do these kinds of maps where, here is his house and here is everyone that he's attacked, basically.
Right. He got more brazen. Yep.
Mhm.
And careless.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Thankfully. Unfortunately, two beautiful girls lost their lives.
Yeah.
Part.
Yeah.
So she
This
says,
is where. Yeah. Sorry. I think this is where his hand is just shaking, and he's just taking command. So the stress on him must have been really. He was probably very insecure, or is
Mhm.
probably insecure. So anyway, just watch his hand. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
And General Angus Watt eventually signed.
Yeah, I saw it
Oh,
shaking
darn.
real bad.
That's what I thought
Keep going.
too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was shaking real bad. I'll play it again so you guys can see. So when they hold their hand up to salute, your hand, like it's supposed to be still. I mean, you hold it still. It's a salute. It's a sign of respect. And his hand to be shaking like that, yeah, he's really nervous. And you would chalk it up to like, okay, he's on stage in front of a lot of people, but then you learn at the same time all these break-ins are happening. I think he was absolutely scared, thought he was going to
Mhm.
be. I mean, just the stress of the situation. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Michelle, this is Abelis. Abelis came up on panel with me today to cover this case.
Hi,
This
guys.
is I love her voice. Love you so
Oh,
much, Abelis.
I love you too. I love everybody in chat. It's the best chat ever.
I love our chat. I really do feel like we have the best chat on YouTube.
And Basil.
Yes, he's over here laying in the sunlight right beside the laptop.
Canada's Air Force.
Okay, well, we're watching again. Watch his hand when he salutes. You're supposed to hold it like really still. It's a sign of respect,
Mhm.
and you can just see how much it's shaking. Good.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, yeah,
It was on
you're
the
right.
base.
He was on the base then, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I saw that. I'll be honest with you. I saw somebody else was the video I was going to play first. It said the something, and it said tweed, and I was thinking about fabric. They have fabric and it's called tweed. I thought that's what it was referencing, like something he stole. I had no idea there was a place called Tweed. That's
Oh, right.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. The town of Tweed.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Colonel.
So it's like small town. I mean, any small town here too, just small towns all over the world. Everybody knows everybody.
Exactly.
But they didn't know him. Wondered how these people carry on relationships with women. Like and Anders was just saying how Ted Bundy would also steal underwear, and he had a long-term girlfriend, and then this man is married, and it's like, what makes that woman different than the one that you committed the homicide on? Like, how are you able to carry on a relationship for years and years and years with a woman yet commit homicide on another?
Yeah, you're right. They didn't have children. They had a cat, I think.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when he wrote a letter to his wife when they arrested him, and he said something about "give my love to Rosie," and that's the cat. He's just weird.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hold on, we might have dropped. Let me check my Discord or see if it's up. Sometimes it'll drop me, and then I'll have to switch it if it did, but we were at least able to see that hand shaking. Yep, she's calling me. Hey, did it drop me? Okay. All right, I'm gonna love your face. Bye.
Hi,
Kia
Theo.
called me. She just hung up. She hung up. Okay. So I'm gonna see if it pulls it back up or if it took it all the way. It says I'm live. Oh, it it said stream unavailable. Let me
Oh,
see.
I see the picture, and then
Yeah, we can, but they can't. I've got it
okay.
pulled up. Maybe if I start playing another video, it will let me. Sometimes it pops back up.
Is it just a glitch or?
No, it is YouTube. So the Fifth Estate basically came and said
Oh, I
that
see.
I can't play their video.
Okay.
So it tells me I'm live and it still says stream unavailable. I'm trying to get it pulled back. Let me see. I don't know. I mean, it should be back up by now, I would think, but it's not. Okay,
Mm.
we're back. They can see us now. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Beautiful.
So we were able to see his hand shaking, which is good. I'm going to try this video next. I had to take it down. We're back on and everybody can hear us now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Woo.
Good to see you again. Good to see you again. All right. So let me see my links. Okay, so this is who this video is from. I figured the Fifth Estate would probably strike me and do that, but we're going to try this one to get the story now. This is called The Tweed Creeper, David Russell Williams, and it's from Just True Crime, and I pinned them at the top of the comment section so you guys can go check them out and subscribe. I'm glad I'm back. Glad we're back. All right, let's try
Yay.
it.
It's too bad because I like that documentary, but maybe we can do the other half some other day.
Yeah, I like that one too. It's just YouTube, they don't like some like the Fifth Estate and really big people, if you go over their stuff, they will basically if YouTube picks up on it, they'll do what they did. So like when I went into my live, just then it said stream unavailable, and they make it to where I can't basically restream somebody else's material.
Right.
So I don't know that we'll ever be able to play it without that happening, which kind of sucks, but
Oh, I see.
but we could like watch it. Maybe we can do it on Patreon or Discord sometime. We can watch it together
Oh,
and
that's a
get trouble.
good idea. Or maybe on Hio's channel.
Yeah, they would
I don't know.
probably do it on Hios too, but we
Right.
can definitely we need to try to figure something out. I'll look into it and see if I can like figure out how to do that. Sometimes if I like make the stream where I don't make money off of it, it'll let me, but sometimes it still won't. So
No, okay. Yeah,
this
no
one
worries.
this stream, like a lot of times if I turn the monetization off, if it's a problem like with it being monetized, I'll get an email and they'll say you have to cut this part out of your video or you can't be monetized, and I'll just leave it unmonetized where I don't make money. But it didn't do that. It just said blatantly, you can't play this video. Monetization, no monetization, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay then.
Yeah. So we'll try this one. This again, I pinned them at the top. This is the Tweed Creeper from Just True Crime.
A good name for him.
And this is the smaller channel, so hopefully it'll be okay.
Okay.
He represented the pride of the Canadian military. However, the colonel was also a panty-stealing criminal whose sensual obsessions sent him into a spiral that resulted in several assaults and 2 killings. The life of Colonel David Russell Williams was admirable. He was being prepared for higher positions and was a well-liked leader in the Canadian military. He and his wife had been married for a long time and owned 2 homes in areas where they were a part of welcoming, secure communities. The couple enjoyed playing golf, according to his official military biography, which also mentioned that he liked fishing, running, and, most notably, photography. However, something went awry. This former Canadian military hero became an offender, along with the
No, I know this is nothing like the Fifth Estate, but it'll give us some background, and then we can look at the interrogation.
Yes,
And who would have
exactly.
thought that? Sorry, who would have thought that
Sorry.
this man would like photography? Could you imagine?
Yeah. You know, wait till everybody sees the patch of hair on his head. You can barely
Oh
see it, but
wow,
when it's from above, when the camera is pointing down at him, it's pretty funny.
good. I hope he's embarrassed.
meticulousness that made him such a skilled leader. His passion for photography would not only encourage his bad behavior, but also supply the proof that would bring him to justice. The mild-mannered colonel suddenly displayed a wave of perversion and violence in Ottawa and the eastern Ontario communities of Belleville, Brighton, and Tweed over the course of 2 years. He started by invading neighbors' homes and taking pictures of himself wearing women's and girls' undergarments. He then R-worded 2 women before killing 2 victims. He also kept meticulous records throughout, including pictures, films, and notes, which helped in his trial and helped him gain notoriety as one of North America's sickest offenders. Nothing in Colonel Russell Williams' past suggested that he would be a predator. The only blemish on his wealthy upbringing and youth was his parents' separation, and he went on to have an incredibly successful military career. He was born in the English Midlands city of Bromsgrove in 1963, but his family quickly relocated to Deep River, Ontario. Deep River, a small town in the southeast of the large province, was established as a planned community by the Canadian government for employees at the close-by Chalk River Nuclear Research Laboratory, where Cedric David Williams, Williams' father, was a metallurgist. Wealthy, educated professionals in the town perceived themselves as distinct from provincial rural residents who lived outside the boundaries of the planned community. The residents of Deep River created a close-knit community and frequently took advantage of the meticulously planned social opportunities offered by the town. The Williams family joined the Deep River Yacht and Tennis Club, just like the majority of their neighbors. Cedric David Williams and Christine Nanai Williams, however, divorced in 1970. Christine wed Jerry Savka again quite fast. Savka, a Canadian-born son of Czech immigrants, first met Christine Williams while studying at the University of Birmingham in England. Savka, a nuclear engineer, began working for Ontario Hydro not long after Christine and he were married. Savka moved to Toronto with his new wife, stepsons Russell and Harvey, and all of them into a lovely home that overlooked Lake Ontario from the Scarborough Bluffs.
I noticed that they didn't note anything about the swinging.
Mhm.
That's interesting to me. They left that part out. I would love to dig more into that because I do think that it had a profound effect on his psychology.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
Hmm.
Russell learned the trumpet and the keyboard in Toronto, where he also fell in love with jazz. He delivered the Globe and Mail for a living, the newspaper by Jerry Savka's profession in 1979, this time to South Korea. However, Russ Savka, as he was then known, stayed behind to complete high school. He transferred to Upper Canada College, a prestigious residential institution, from Toronto's Birchmount Collegiate. He adapted easily and kept doing well. In his last year, 1982, his fellow students chose him to be one of the 2 prefects of their boarding house. The bright and cunning young guy was once locked in his room by his peers as a practical joke, but he managed to get free by tying his bedclothes together and climbing out the window. He continued his education at the University of Toronto Scarborough, where he
That's interesting to me that they locked him in his room and he basically went out the window. I wonder if that had any effect on him.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like he was teased or something, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Well, wait. I don't know if they'll talk about it here, but in college he was like a drill sergeant with his fellow college kids, telling them what to do, when to do it, who could, who was supposed to clean what. Like he was really
Mhm.
a real, and so they teased him about that. I would suppose, he was really
Right.
controlling with his friends.
Mm. I could see that for sure.
he he received a degree in economics and politics. At Toronto's Buttonville Airport, he acquired his pilot's license while still in college. He went a while without dating after his breakup with his fiancée shortly after graduating and revealed his intention to join the military as a pilot. David Russell Williams had renounced the name Sofka by the time he joined the military in 1987 and had adopted his real name. He had his first military duty as a flying instructor with the CT-134 Musketeers at Portage-la Prairie.
So his mother renamed him his stepfather's name, Sopka?
I think he took the name. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, he became Sofka and then changed back to Williams later.
That's interesting.
But he was
Because
born
that tells
Williams. Sorry.
Right. No, you're fine. You're fine, sweetheart. That tells me that either if his mother made him take the last name of his stepfather, that would be upsetting to any child when they knew their real father and like they had been married and he was raised with his real father. If he chose to take that name, that tells me that there was once a close relationship he had with his stepfather that for whatever reason diminished over time and he changed his name back.
Right. Yeah.
Either way.
I have a book on him. I couldn't find it, but it goes into more depth about that.
Oh, wow.
If I remember.
On the Manitoba Prairie just west of Winnipeg.
He absolutely does. I mean, just staring at him in that picture. There was a couple I got and I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Williams was an intense young man who was full of potential, according to Major Greg McQuaid. In 1992, Williams was promoted from lieutenant to captain with the assistance of McQuaid, and he was assigned to Canadian Forces Base Shearwater in Nova Scotia. In 1991, Williams wed Mary Elizabeth Harriman. She was raised in the mining community of Madsen in northwest Ontario, where her father was a geologist. She graduated from the University of Guelph with an applied science degree after attending Red Lake High School, and she later went on to get a master's degree in adult education from St. Francis Xavier University in Nova Scotia. Williams graduated with a master's in defense studies from the Royal Military College in 2003. His 55-page thesis backed an attack on Iraq as a preventative measure. He had been promoted to major in 1999, and in 2004, he was chosen to command the No. 437 Transport Squadron at Canadian Forces Base Trenton. His military career continued to flourish. He flew dignitaries from Canada and beyond on the Bombardier Challenger fleet of the Canadian Armed Forces. Williams deployed in Camp Mirage in Dubai for 6 months each in 2005 and 2006. This covert station offers logistical support for Canadian operations in Afghanistan. Williams also experienced a personal setback as a result of his mother's divorce from Jerry.
So yeah, here's the pictures and some of the lingerie that he liked. I'll make it where you guys can see it better.
And he holds the same position and the same, like no smile. He just stands there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just weird.
Right. It's like his military position. Like that's how you stand
in
the military. Goodness. You nasty bugger.
Sofka in 2001, which caused a rift between the family. Williams severed all ties with his mother and Harvey, his younger sibling. Sofka moved to Aix-en-Provence, France. Nani Williams was a physiotherapist in Toronto, and Harvey had graduated from medical school and practiced medicine in Ontario. Williams kept his distance from each of them. Williams had a demanding career. Williams was appointed commanding officer of the largest Air Force base in Canada, Canadian Forces Base Trenton, in 2009. Government officials are served by a fleet of planes at CFB Trenton, which also serves as a rapid deployment force hub and a search and rescue facility. Williams and Mary Elizabeth Harriman subsequently sold the home they had purchased in 1996 in Ottawa's Orleans area and invested the proceeds in a brand new townhouse in the hip Westboro Village neighborhood. They would
I want to take a minute and break down the psychologics of these photos. Like, what I don't understand what pleasure he's getting out of it. Does he want to be a woman? Does he want somebody? I mean, he's got a big fascination with control. In order to be high up in the military, you would have to be a very controlling person. So it would, I mean, I'm wondering if that plays a role in this. Like, he's always has to be in control, so secretly he wants somebody to control him.
Right.
Um,
That makes sense.
with the like, control him and be like, you're such a bad little boy, and I don't know, like, we
Yeah.
could talk for days about the fetishes and things.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
I don't I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's the feeling that, I'm wearing women's lingerie and nobody knows. I mean, I think it might be some of both of that. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, like I think he probably did wear these under his uniform.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would bet $1,000 on it.
Yeah, I think he did too, and that would go to the aspect of I'm wearing women's lingerie while I'm in control of this whole military fleet and flying the Queen of England around, and
Yeah.
nobody knows. Like, it could be more of a control aspect. I'm doing this thing and nobody knows I'm in control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things. There is something wrong, though, deeply.
And he had stolen so many pairs of underwear and things that is lingerie, that he had to go out in a field and burn boxes and boxes because he didn't have any place to store them anymore. He was replacing what he had already stolen.
Oh,
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items.
wow. That's
Hmm.
interesting too.
Well, so people were saying, well, how did his wife not know? Like, there was a box. I think there was a box in his garage that was full of stuff, and up in the rafters and in the ceiling, and people were saying, well, how did she not know? Like, did she never open a box in her garage? But I don't know. She said she didn't know. So
Well, I mean, we get just like I love this movie, and it's called Gothica, and like they have a house and he's kidnapping girls and he keeps them in this basement. And it's like how did you not know? But like, I mean, if your husband, goes to the shop to work, you would have, I mean, walk in maybe occasionally, but there's this basement you didn't even know about. And I mean, going back to this, like, if he kept the stuff up in the rafters, or like if he's got an office and in the closet of his office or something like that, I mean, you have no reason to suspect him of anything. So therefore, you just think that's some of his paperwork from work, or
mhm,
something else. Like, there's no suspicion. So therefore nothing seems out of the ordinary. And you get to know your partner and their mannerisms and where they will, places they go often in the house to look for things and places they don't, and you know where to hide things.
right, exactly. And he hid pictures on USB drives behind, inside his piano, and then in some other little cabinet. He'll explain all that during the interrogation. But like, you don't go behind your piano looking for USB drives, right?
Right. Exactly. You wouldn't, there would be no reason,
Yeah, yeah.
Would alternate between living in the townhouse and a vacation residence they owned outside of Tweed, which was much nearer to Williams' command. In 2004, they purchased the lakefront vacation property on Cozy Cove Lane. The colonel made a name for himself as a respected community member and neighbor in Tweed and Trenton. He appeared at charitable events, posed for pictures with the media, and consistently assisted those under his charge. His wife joined the Heart and Stroke Foundation, a Canadian nonprofit, as an assistant director. Williams stayed alone in the cottage in Tweed during the week but spent his weekends with her in Ottawa. The colonel seemed to have had lots of free time as a result of this arrangement. However, detectives are convinced that Colonel David Russell Williams' crimes didn't start until he was 44, when he started breaking into neighbors' homes. Experts tell us that most offenders start their habits young and wind down in their 42nd. In September 2007, Ron and Monique Murdoch of Cozy Cove Lane were visiting Monique's ailing mother in neighboring Sudbury with their children. Williams went into the 12-year-old daughter's room after walking into the unlocked, unoccupied Tweed residence. The colonel stayed there for 3 hours while taking pictures of himself and donning various pairs of the girl's underwear. He
Oh
took
my
6
God.
of her bras and undies with him when he departed. Over the following few years, he would return to this girl's room twice more and break into the houses of 47 other neighbors, returning to one of them 9 times during his jogs to preserve his military body. He observed the residences and their female residents. There doesn't appear to have been any inkling that the colonel was releasing a dark side. Williams continued to have beer and play cards with the Murdochs. He kept on speaking French with Monique. He learned cribbage from their daughter, who also made cookies and cupcakes for him and his wife, watched their new cat Rosebud, and even wrote a school essay about him. Williams took the girl's brother and then lake tubing. Some Williams neighbors now claim that 2007 was a
He had such an impact on this little girl, and she felt so comfortable about him and with him that she wrote a paper on him for her school. That is insane to me. And meanwhile, he's going and still in her underwear and bras.
Yeah, right. 12 years old. Tell
Yeah.
me he's not a pedophile.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
a difficult year for Williams. He broke down in tears when informing friends about the loss of his old cat, Curio. He then started to struggle with persistent pain. He began taking a variety of medications for his pains. Manic behavior as well as bipolar disorder and psychotic illnesses have been linked to the medication prednisone, which is used to treat a number of inflammatory and autoimmune conditions.
Prednisone is a steroid that
Mhm.
does break your body down over time. This is one of his victims, Jessica Lloyd.
Yes.
Was allegedly taking potent drugs that altered his behavior, according to a writer who claimed to be a former coworker in an anonymous letter to the Toronto Star. This was confirmed to the Star by a second anonymous source, who specified the medicine as prednisone. Williams had been taking prednisone since arriving home from Dubai, and Monique Murdoch, the colonel's next-door neighbor, has also confirmed that the pain or the drugs used to treat it contributed to the colonel's insomnia. Systemic corticosteroids like prednisone are not suitable for use during flight operations, according to Canadian Air Force flight surgeon standards. A military doctor would have overseen Williams' medical care. However, no one at the time seemed to have been alarmed by the colonel's actions. In this little village, people frequently left their doors unlocked and never noticed anything was wrong. They might not have known there was a dangerous pervert next door if it weren't for his more serious later crimes and the detailed record Williams maintained of his offenses.
So this one is saying that like maybe it started in his 40s. I don't know that that's accurate. I think this most definitely started during childhood, but prednisone is a prescription steroid. I mean, I'm not going to say like it's like methamphetamine, but it's definitely an upper. When you take steroid, a lot of people take steroids and will work out because you have a lot of energy. So I don't
Right.
know that it would necessarily be getting him high, but he would be having outbursts of energy and things like that. Do you think that contributed to this, or do you think it was just there and that enhanced it?
I don't know. There are millions of people who take these things and they don't do what he did.
Right.
But then there are some who do too. So, I don't know about prednisone particularly, but I don't know. I think it was in him long before, and maybe
Right.
it did trigger him. I don't know. The stress. I still think the stress of becoming commander was heavy on him.
Mm-hmm.
So all these things together, yeah. But to end up killing people, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it had to be there before too. Yeah, prednisone is taken for a lot of things, asthma, to open your airways and things like that. And it is like I've told y'all I used to unfortunately live a very different lifestyle that I've not lived in over 10 years now, or around 10 years. But I've heard of people getting prednisone and selling it to like people who would work out and stuff. So I know it opens your airways and gives you energy and things like that. I think I went on it one time in my whole life.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's something that can be abused, I suppose, but it's very beneficial too.
Right. Yeah, and like the show just said, you know, he would have been under medical care or military care because he's a pilot. So
Yeah, I'm wondering if I mean, yeah, he's under military, he's under care. Was he able, like, was he not allowed to fly on the prednisone? I didn't quite catch that. If he was like moved to a different position because he was on the prednisone, and I'm wondering if that might have triggered something because he liked to fly, or if they allowed him to fly with it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay.
I think he kept flying, but anyway, yeah.
Okay.
However, he intensified his criminal activity and attacked 2 ladies in September 2009. On September 16, 2009, Colonel David Russell Williams returned to Tweed following a regular visit to a Canadian Forces base in Nunavut. He broke into a cabin on Charles Road just after midnight, not far from the lakefront home he and his wife occupied. He entered the home while concealed. There was a woman alone, watching a Law and Order episode. He used his flashlight to try to put her to sleep, but she was still awake. She was then bound by wire and given a blindfold. Williams attacked her but assured her that he wouldn't RP her and that all he wanted was pictures of her naked body. He also took a shot of himself while covering his face with her panties and donning a black ski helmet. The woman has only recently relocated to Tweed. She had desired to bring up her child in a tiny town's security. Throughout the attack, the infant was in the room next door. A few hours later, Williams went to a CIO conference in the Ramada Inn in Belleville, which is south of Tweed. Williams accepted the donation to Soldier On, an organization that helps injured soldiers, on behalf of his base. A couple of days later, he would drop the puck at the Belleville Bulls junior-level ice hockey team's season opener before going to his base's Battle of Britain Memorial March. 2 weeks later, he struck once more. His victim was only a couple of doors away. On September 30th, a masked intruder woke her up and forced her to strip off her clothing, tie her to a chair, and abuse her while snapping pictures. The woman mistook her assailant for a different neighbor, Larry Jones. The colonel went to a ceremony 2 days later to give his wife's organization a check. Assorted underwear, bras, and a baby blanket were among the items that police searched Larry Jones' home for during their hunt for the 2 women who had been attacked. When Larry Jones arrived home from a trip, police were waiting for him in his driveway. They seized his cameras, computers, and hunting gear, but there was no evidence that would have implicated him. Jones provided DNA and a polygraph evidence, and he was exonerated. Williams, though, remained free and became more and more uncontrollable.
So this is his second victim, and it's heartbreaking to hear that this other man was accused of this, and I'm glad that he didn't, they found out it wasn't him.
And I think it's the next door neighbor who was talking earlier.
Mhm.
Not his best friend, but the neighbor. And he tried to, well, you'll see later, but he tried making it as if Larry Jones was the murderer, but he was exonerated. But you'll see later where he disposed of Jessica's body is where Larry Jones used to go hunting.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So he tried to set him up.
Yeah, he tried to set him up, and so that'll come out. I think, like they might talk about it here. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I haven't seen this film here. So.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's a smaller channel, so I'm hoping that we can play it and won't get in trouble.
It's good though. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very informative.
Colonel David Russell Williams broke into a different house close to Belleville on November 17, 2009. He also stole a toy, a pornographic video, and numerous items of underwear. On the resident's personal computer, he left a mocking note in which he dared her to call the police and remarked that the judge would like to see her dildo. The snapshot Williams took of that message and a picture of the woman's cat were among the
Whoa, I need to back that up because I was trying to make sure we didn't lose YouTube again. And did they just, okay. What the damn hell just happened? I'm going to play that again. Okay.
And numerous items of underwear.
Hold on. I need to take it back just a little bit further. Okay.
Hold on just a
Free
minute.
and became more and more uncontrollable. Colonel David Russell Williams.
Just a minute. This is Maria. I think her name is Frances Comeau.
Marie-France Comeau. Close.
Thank you. I'm not even going to attempt to do that. Thank you for telling me her name.
It's Marie-France. And her
Okay.
last name is Comeau. Like, as if, like, Como, if you want. It's not spelled
Okay.
like that, but that's how it's pronounced.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Broke into a different house close to Belleville on November 17, 2009. He also stole a toy, a pornographic video, and numerous items of underwear. On the resident's personal computer, he left a mocking note in which he dared her to call the police and remarked that the judge would like to see her dildo.
Wow. So he broke into her house and stole some pornographic stuff and then wrote a note on the computer, "Don't call the police because the judge would love to see your dildo." Oh
Yep.
my God. Like he's taunting her for having pornographic or, adult toys while he's
Right.
simultaneously stealing underwear and taking pictures of himself in lingerie.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
seems like a control thing. Hearing that.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The snapshot Williams took of that message and a picture of the woman's cat were among the artifacts that investigators would later discover from this attack. But what he would do after that was much worse. Williams flew at least once every month to maintain his pilot license, typically in an Airbus A310 from the No. 437 Squadron, which he had previously commanded. On many of these trips, flight attendant Marie-France Comeau, 38, was employed.
Oh my
Comeau
God.
was raised in a military household. Her grandpa had been a Spitfire pilot who had received awards during World War II.
This girl worked with him, was on the planes with him and had no idea.
Yeah. I think they flew once. That's what he said during the interrogation.
Wow.
But he had her hours. He had all of her documents because he's the commander. He's her commander, right? So
Right.
he knew everything about her. If he wanted to, he could access her hours, her address, like everything.
Oh my gosh. And it made it that much more easier for him to commit the homicide on her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And her father was a medic in the Canadian Armed Forces. She gladly and competently followed in their footsteps, proudly working on the trip to Mumbai in November 2009 carrying Prime Minister Stephen Harper. After returning from India, she missed a shift, so her boyfriend went to her Brighton home on Raglan Street to find her. He discovered her dead. Williams broke in while wearing a mask and crouched behind Comeau's furnace to wait for her to go to sleep. But when she went downstairs to look for her cat, he opened fire. By using a flashlight, he beat her. He later fastened her to a pole. Along with his criminal goals, he also had artistic ones. So he brought in some lighting to better record himself while he repeatedly R-worded the woman.
Oh my God.
Comeau once
Yes.
inquired
Yeah,
as to whether he intended to murder her. For her life,
he didn't
What
fire
we said,
anything. He didn't fire anything. He didn't have a gun. He had a big, huge flashlight, and he smacked people over the head with it. That's his thing. That's what he did to Jessica as well. He crushed her skull with the flashlight. But he went downstairs because her cat was fixated on him in the basement, and she didn't know why the cat was sitting there doing nothing, not coming up. So she went downstairs, and unfortunately, she was only wearing a shawl. She was naked, and she fought like hell to try and get away from him.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
And then he brought in like better equipment, better lighting so he could assault her physically.
No, he just had a big flashlight because he was creeping around all the neighborhoods and that. But
Okay.
then he kept her in the basement, and he did all kinds of nasty things to her until he killed her.
Oh my God.
He's horrible.
Mm.
she implored. He used duct tape to bind her lips and nose, almost drowning her. He then carried her unconscious body upstairs to her bed where he R-worded her. Comeau almost managed to escape when he stepped outside to make sure they were alone. When he found her in the restroom, he beat her once more while using the flashlight. Williams appears to have slain her in silence before making the 3-hour trip to a meeting. While removing the tape and restraints, he left a shoe print in her blood. Williams was there at a United Way fundraiser on November 25th when her boyfriend discovered Comeau's body. In jest, his coworkers threatened to put him in prison and accused him of being too young to be a wing commander there. Williams cheerfully posed in handcuffs, but insisted he was too busy to do the entire fundraising charade to go into the cage. On December 4th, 2009, Comeau was laid to rest.
Okay, so I don't understand. Like they were doing a fundraiser and he was pretending to be a criminal?
Yes, yeah, they said he was too young, and so they were going to lock him up for being too young for being a commander. So they actually, I think they did cuff him. I don't know if they did or not. I think they did. I'm sorry, I can't remember. But Marie France, when he attacked her, she did get away and go into the bathroom, like as they were saying, and she tried to get out of the window, and she couldn't, and he caught her, and he couldn't. If only she could have jumped out that window, but
Right.
what can you do?
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Rest at the National Military Cemetery in Ottawa. Williams, who was in charge of her base, sent her father an official letter of sympathy.
Wow.
Between Belleville and Tweed, on rural Highway 37, Jessica Lloyd, 27, lived alone. She was an administrator of a school bus line at Tri-Board Student Transportation Services on January 29, 2010. However, she failed to arrive for work. Her family was immediately summoned to her home by coworkers. In the driveway next to her car, Lloyd's pocketbook with her wallet, ID, and glasses was lying, but she wasn't there. Her body wasn't discovered by the police until February 8, when Colonel David Russell Williams first saw her in late January. He was out for one of his meticulous runs. She was working out in her basement on a treadmill. Williams entered when she was sleeping a few nights later. He assaulted her while taking pictures and videos, binding her and covering her eyes with duct tape. This was part of what was becoming his habit. After R-wording her at her house, he drove her to his cottage on Cozy Cove Lane where he assaulted her once more. He made her take a shower in his presence. She begged him for clothing and begged him to take her to the hospital while she shivered in the shower. She forewarned him that she would pass away. He told her, "Hang in there, sweetie. Remain patient." She gave in to everything he asked, alternately pleading with him to save her life and begging him to tell her mother that she loved her. He dressed her like a model for his photographs and fed her fruit to keep her going. He then killed her by strangling her after hitting her from behind with a flashlight. After moving her dead body to his garage, he dumped it a little distance from his property on a country road. Williams oversaw a troop trip to California later that morning. He must have believed he was getting away with it again. In an effort to discover Jessica Lloyd's kidnapper or murderer, police closed key highways around Belleville. On February 4, 2010, Colonel David Russell Williams was one of those detained. An officer at the roadblock noted that Williams' Pathfinder SUV's tires matched the peculiar marks that authorities believed were left by an SUV that a bystander had seen the day Lloyd vanished, parked oddly in the midst of a field close to Lloyd's house. Williams,
Mr. Speculating walked in and I was talking to him, but it's really sad to hear that she cooperated with everything that he asked of her, and then she still ended up dying. Like that's so sad.
That's exactly what people have compared. Is Marie France fought like hell, and Jessica didn't. She did what he said, and he still killed them both.
Right.
So it didn't matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't matter either way. I read in when I was reading through an article on this yesterday, I read where she was begging him to tell her mother that she loved her, and it broke my heart.
I know. And her
sad.
brother is a giant of a man, and he's so sweet. I've seen interviews with him. He's really a very interesting young man. I guess he's not so young anymore, but yeah, they were a close-knit family, and same thing with Marie France. She had that her ex-boyfriend just adored her. He was still close to her. They were very close, even though they were broken up. But Creepo here.
Yeah, just shattered everyone's lives.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, the more I hear, the more it becomes a control thing.
Definitely. Yeah.
townhouse in Ottawa heard a call on Sunday, February 7. He was summoned to the Ottawa Police Service headquarters by the Ontario Provincial Police so they could question him. He smiled at his interrogator upon arrival and declared he had never been in a room like this. Williams confessed after being informed about the identical tire treads and the growing body of...
Okay, so this is going to get into the interrogation. So we've got the story now. So we're going to jump into the interrogation, some of it that I have. This is a 2-hour one from the Mob Reporter.
So, so the interrogation was actually about 10 hours, and they took
Okay.
out 2 hours and
Hold on, look. Sorry, it automatically will play when I make it big. I apologize. Go ahead. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no worries. No, I just want to let everybody know because it's a 10-hour interrogation pared down to 2 hours and 49 minutes and some seconds. But the reason I mention it is because there will appear to be some weird moments, like he doesn't move. He sits on the chair with his arms crossed. But there are times when it seems a little odd, and it's because of the cuts, because they cut the 10 hours into 2 hours and almost 3 hours. So that's
Right.
why there are times when things look a little odd.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got some heavy editing going on. Okay, perfect. So we're using this interrogation, which is I checked the time. This one is 2 hours and it's 39 minutes. It might have 10 minutes taken off. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll get the gist of it watching this interrogation. This is from the Mob Reporter, and it's titled Colonial Russell Williams Brilliant Police Interrogation and Confession, and I have pinned them to the top of the chat box. Yeah,
No,
it's not 10 hours.
Yeah, I know. I think it's right. I think it's 2 hours and 39 minutes and 40 odd seconds. So
Okay, perfect. If I disappear again, remember I'll be right back and we'll continue trying to watch it somewhere else. But I'm thinking I'll be okay because this one is not as big, and I'll make sure to put them in the description too.
great.
All right.
I was speaking with whatever night that was Russ as well.
Oh, yeah.
And he took every number I had.
Yeah. Now they were doing some pretty thorough interviews that night.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
All right.
good. Glad to see it.
I'm just going to move your gloves here. That's a little microphone, just to make sure there's nice and clear. As you can see here, everything in this room is videotaped and audio taped.
AS, can I say
So
one thing?
in this one,
Sorry.
oh yes, ma'am. Go ahead. You're
No,
good.
I was going to say, this is the amazing detective, Jim Smith. He's just amazing. He acts like an accountant, and he's like just really good at it.
That's
Like
Yeah.
he seems just like this chill guy, but he's getting him really, really good.
That's awesome. I love brilliant police work.
Hmm.
So this one, you have several camera angles, so you can see this from like every angle possible, which I also like.
Yes.
Ever been interviewed by the police in a room like this before?
I have never been interviewed like this.
Oh no. Okay.
No.
Let's get this set up here.
Big smile.
Mm-hmm.
It's closest to interview by NIS for top secret clearance.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, again, Russell, I appreciate you coming in.
And he would have top secret clearance. I mean, and then again, it's like a control aspect. I can see it in him now, him smiling and the way he's approaching this. Again, it shows me the control aspect he has in his life.
And what the detective does is he doesn't call him Colonel or Sir. He just calls him Russell. And so he's
Awesome.
bringing him down to his, to a lower level by not calling him Commander or Colonel so he's just
Right.
Russell.
Right. Ava, if you don't, I'll type it in chat. Okay.
And an investigation like this, I mean, I'm sure you can appreciate it's been big news, especially down Belleville way. And obviously our approach to cases like this is that we don't give up on somebody being alive until we get evidence that they're not. So because of that, we're treating Jessica's case as an emergent situation, obviously. So we're fast forwarding things that we might normally take our time with. And that's why we're here on a Sunday afternoon. So again, I appreciate it. We're going to do a pretty thorough interview today. Okay. And the reason for that is because the last thing we want is to be calling people back again and again and again. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over a number of things, and I'm going to explain what all those are to you. Okay. I'm a big coffee guy. I don't know if you're a coffee guy or
I am
not,
a
but I
coffee
didn't
guy,
want to
actually,
drink in
yeah.
front of you. So
No, I appreciate that.
all right, go ahead.
I could definitely. Are they black?
Yeah, they're just black with sugar.
Definitely. I just started my phone. Probably have it a little bit.
Sorry, what? Sorry.
Gum. Just
Oh, okay.
Is it gum?
What I'm noticing, and only because you mentioned it, I'm noticing like his chest, where his chest would be, it's staying in place, like there is a bra there, like there's no movement there. It's very, and it could be his muscles, but then looking at his arms look a little flabby, so I don't think that his chest would be so tight from running, and his muscles that they would not move, and they're not moving like he does have a bra on, it seems.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. You know, and yeah, I'm sure he was wearing stuff. He's not, you know, he's a creep, period. So I'm sure he was. But if I can point out, it's 3:00 on their clock, 3:15.
Okay.
So so yeah, so that's the time they start, and then it goes on forever. But we get 2 hours and 39 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's napkins there if you want to toss it or whatever.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, give us
All
your
right.
gums
Again,
when you get to DNA.
like I said, this interview is going to be very thorough. But again,
Sorry, love. You said give us your gum so we can get that DNA.
Yeah. He goes, "Oh yeah, I have a paper napkin here if you want to throw it away." But
Yep. Classic
Sorry.
police tactic.
yeah.
Oh no, you're okay.
I have a simple rule when I talk to people. It's I'm sure you're the same way. I treat everybody with respect. I don't ask if they do the same for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by going through what your rights are. Okay? Just like everybody else. Okay. Have you ever been read your rights before?
No.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it on TV a whole bunch of times, but that's usually the American version. So I'll go over with you briefly. Okay. Basically in Canada, as you know, I'm sure, is we all have our rights guaranteed under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Okay. Now, Russell, just to avoid any confusion, because people do get confused when they're talked to by the police, is that you're obviously not under arrest here today. Okay. Anytime you feel you want to leave here, you feel free to do so. The door's not locked. Teresa will walk you down the lobby anytime you want. Okay. If there's anything that comes up in our interview today, Russell, that you feel you want to talk to a lawyer about, you just let me know. Okay. And the reason for that is I want to explain to you exactly what's going on here. Okay. Jessica Lloyd is one of 4 cases that we're currently investigating. Okay. And essentially what's happened is over the past about 4 or 5 months.
I love how they're so cocky, and especially him, that they don't ask for a lawyer. Like, of course, he wouldn't ask for a lawyer immediately because he's so cocky and thinks he's so in control that he's not going to ask.
Yeah. And
like
what I know, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No,
Oh,
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say when Smith mentions Jessica's name, he chews Russell a little bit faster for a few seconds.
Oh, really?
I've watched this a million times, so I
yeah.
know, but yeah, he chews a little bit faster, and then he constantly has that little smirk on his face. I'd like to wipe it off, but I can't.
Oh yeah, I would like to wipe it off as well. No, and I love your extensive knowledge that you have on the case. Because you're pointing out things that I don't know, I haven't noticed, and I really appreciate that. And I apologize because when sometimes it's like, oh, I think there might be a slight delay. I don't want you to think I'm trying to interrupt you or anything.
Oh, no,
Um,
no.
all I was saying was like that he didn't ask for an attorney, and you're called in there in relation to a girl you committed homicide on, and you still think you're in so much control that you don't call a lawyer. Like the stupidity
Yeah.
while being so cunning and able to get away from it with it for so long is astonishing to me.
And if I recall, I think he thought that he was going into an interview about his neighbor. He didn't realize that this was about him. And so he
Oh.
told his wife he'd be back for dinner. And of course, he's never been back for dinner since, right?
Right.
She's still waiting. But,
Poor
but
thing.
yeah, so he didn't realize that. He thought that's probably why he didn't ask for a lawyer also, because he thought they were going to ask him about his neighbor, not about him.
Right. He thought he had framed him good enough. Interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There have been 4 occurrences that, like I said, that we're looking into. 2 of those occurrences occurred in September of 2009.
Yeah.
And very briefly, they were up in the Tweed area.
Yeah.
They involved somebody entering 2 different women's houses in the evening hours and committing sexual acts.
Yeah.
Okay. In November of 2009, a young lady by the name of Marie-France Comeau
My people.
was found murdered in her home in Brighton.
Yeah.
And we believe that there was a sexual component to that crime as well.
Okay.
And then most recently we have Jessica Lloyd's disappearance.
Mhm.
Okay. So essentially, when you're looking at those kind of crimes, we're looking at a number of different potential criminal charges. All right.
Absolutely.
We're looking at issues all the way from the most serious one, which is first-degree murder, kidnapping, sexual assault, break and enter with intent to commit sexual assault, forcible confinement. Okay. And so what I want to make sure you understand, and this is what we've been doing with everybody we've been talking to, is that clearly when we find out who's responsible for one or all of those crimes, they could be charged with one or all of those offenses. Okay. Whether it's you or whether it's anybody else. All right.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's important that we make sure that people understand what they have to do and what they don't have to do when they're talking to us. Okay. So as I said before, any point today you feel the need, you want to speak to a lawyer, you let me know, and we can take you to a room where you can do that in private. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have your own lawyer?
I have a realty lawyer, but
Okay.
no, I don't have a lawyer.
All right. If at any point you want to make that call and you don't know who to call, we have a phone list of lawyers that are available to give you advice free of charge right over the phone. Okay. So again, if at any point today you want to take advantage of that, you just let me know.
Sure.
Is there any reason you want to call a lawyer now?
Nope.
Okay. A couple other fairly simple and straightforward things that you probably understand.
I was muted. I was muted. What did you say?
I said dummy
Oh, yeah.
to him. Do you want a lawyer? No, I'm good.
Yep. He's cocky. He thinks he's
Yeah.
in control. I love hearing you talk and them talk. The you and the investigator, you sound just like my neighbor. I was my landlord. I was at her house this morning. She's the one with the baby chicks and things, and you guys sound so much alike.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I love it.
Aw.
Understand, but again, we go over them to make sure everybody's clear. Is that you don't have to speak to me today, okay? And the reason for that is because the law considers me to be what we refer to as a person of authority, okay? Probably similar to what you may be considered to be on the base. And because of that, I can be compelled to appear before any judge in the country, basically, to account for what takes place here today between you and I, okay? And that's the reason why everything's recorded, because there can't be any more accurate record than that, right? So.
No, understood.
And the other thing I want to make sure you understand is that, you mentioned a second ago about Ms. Comeau being one of your work associates. So I don't know what's happened since November on the military side of things. But what we want to make people clear on is that if you have been spoken to by any person in authority or any police officer about any of those cases, I don't want what they may have said to you to make you feel influenced or compelled to say anything to me today, okay? whatever you might have felt influenced or compelled to say to them earlier,
Mhm.
you don't have to repeat it to me, and you don't have to say anything further. Okay.
Okay.
But obviously what you do say, for the third time is being recorded, right? So,
Understood. These first two attacks happened not that far from my place in Tweed. Well, the second one did.
Yeah.
We didn't even know the first one had happened, but I understand that was reasonably close as well. But the second one was very close.
Yeah.
So certainly at the time, the OPP did a door-to-door.
Yeah.
And, within a couple of days, probably the same night. So I spoke with a couple of guys then.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm aware of that from looking at the different cases. And essentially, Russell, in a nutshell, that's what we wanted to talk to you about. Okay. Those 4 cases are of concern to us. And, you've kind of almost hit the nail on the head about some of our issues that kind of make us want to talk to Russell Williams. Okay. Because essentially, there was a connection between you and all 4 of those cases. Would you agree? Geographically,
And then I guess I drive past. Yes, I would have to say there's a connection. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'll be quite frank with you. That's why things kind of evolved when the officers talked to you on Thursday night.
Okay.
We kind of went from there because when I think you discussed with them the fact that you were a colonel at the base.
I was in uniform at the time, so.
Yeah, so pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, then the connection with Miss Comeau was made, and I believe you're a door or 2 down from one of those 2 incidents
I think
in Tweed.
3 doors down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very close. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So those are some of the issues we wanted to discuss with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So just getting back to these 4 incidents that we're talking about. Maybe you could just give me a little bit of history as to your arrival in the base in Trenton. When did you start working there?
Joy, I've seen I wanted to read a couple of comments. Kara said that there's anywhere from 25 to 50 active serial killers in the U.S. And that makes me think of like long haul truck drivers. I've always thought that would be like, I watched a movie. It was called Suspect Zero or something like that. And it was about a long haul truck driver. And he didn't have any, he would kill elderly women all the way down to little boys and middle-aged men. Like he didn't have a particular type of person he killed, and therefore they couldn't track him. I mean, like when if you do it across the country like that, they never connect all of the things to one person. You know what I mean? They're just missing people in certain areas or whatever.
Right.
Super scary.
It's terrifying. Yeah. You know.
Fawny, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet of you. Fawny said, is the due process similar in Canada as in the U.S.? I would think so, but Abelis could tell us more about that. I know here we have the death penalty. You guys do not have the death penalty in Canada?
No, that's right. Yeah, we got rid of it in 1976, I think, and I think the last execution was in 1964, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah. So he got the maximum penalty, which is 25 years to life, and he'll never get out. Like I said, like he'll be able to apply for parole in 25. Well, not 25 now, 15 now. He's already been in there 10 years or more.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I would think like, just like here, they suspected him of a crime. They went and interrogated him. He goes to court and then is sentenced.
Right.
Do they wear wigs in court there? I know in England they do.
Not sure actually.
Okay, I know I've seen some of them with like the white curls, and I know that still happens in some countries. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. In England they do. Yeah. I never looked up when they had me locked up. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think we have wigs here, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Cool. Fawny said, "Oh, beautiful
Fawny.
Canada, my future bride's home."
Well, come on up, Bonnie.
She said, "Someone marry me, get me out of here."
Oh,
That's so sweet. I would love to go there.
well, you're all invited. Come on up, everybody.
I wish I could.
Basil, especially Basil.
Yes, I would love to bring him. Hopefully, maybe one day we can.
Mhm. That's funny. Sorry, I'm drinking water.
Oh, no, you're okay.
What do you think of his little patch on his head?
It's like a rumble strip or something.
It's funny.
Like a like a goatee for your forehead or something. I don't know. It's funny. Yeah, he should have just shaved it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Friday on the
Carolina.
day, I was. Friday on the day, I was at home most of the time. Most of the day, I had a sort of a stomach flu.
Okay. In Ottawa or Tweed?
Tweed.
In Tweed? Okay.
Yeah.
So we backtrack then. So all day Friday, you're at home.
Yep.
And then what time do you leave to go to the base to sleep there on the Friday night?
Not sure. Probably just went in for just before bed. So I probably left Tweed at between 8 and 9 or so.
Okay. And you get to the base and spend the evening there and get up for the 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So we backtrack from there. When did you arrive at your home at the cottage? I don't want to get confused between your home in Ottawa and the home in Tweed.
Understood.
So
No, I had been in Tweed all week.
Yeah.
The week prior now. Yeah, I think that's the case. I was in Tweed all week. Flew Saturday. Headed to Ottawa Saturday night.
Okay. So if you didn't have the stomach flu on the Friday, what was your
I think
schedule
it was
that
something
day?
like 8, really.
Okay.
What would have been my schedule? Just a standard schedule in the office.
Okay.
So office brief in the morning, a couple of meetings. I can't remember what the specifics were going to be.
Okay. So Thursday night you slept at Tweed, or you?
Yep.
All right. And what did you do Thursday during the day?
Thursday during the day, I was at the base again. I think it was a fairly standard day. I can't recall exactly, but yeah, nothing. I was not flying, so I was at the base. So I would have gone in early in the morning, back in the evening again.
Okay. Do you remember what time you left the base that night?
I don't remember anything peculiar, so I would say, I don't know, probably 7 to 9, somewhere in that range.
Okay. And that's when you left.
Left the base, yeah.
And what
That's
was
a 45-minute transit. So
45 minutes home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to walk you through November, but I'm going to take you to a date that's probably pretty fresh in your mind, the day that Marie-France Comeau.
Yeah.
Do you remember how you found out?
I do. Yeah, I was sent an email. Well, as soon as the ops staff and the base learned, they told me.
Okay.
So I got an email. I can't remember if it was late at night or early in the morning. It was certainly, I saw it, I want to say first thing in the morning, because I had just come back from Ottawa. I was in Ottawa for a set of meetings on one of the days. I can't remember what day of the week we're talking about, but yeah. No.
I did just give Basil some pets. I went to grab him some animal crackers, but I wanted y'all to know I gave him some loving and some pets from y'all.
Yay, Basil. Aw.
He's so cute. He's just laying there sleeping.
No, I mean, obviously when your people gets killed, it gets your attention. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I very much remember that coming in.
And how did you know Marie-France Comeau?
I'd only met her once. She was on a crew I was on just after I got to the base.
Okay.
So I can't even remember. I think it was a one-day trip I did a number of trips in Canada, transporting our troops, sort of first leg out of Edmonton. We tend to hopscotch them across until they get into theater. So anyway, I can't remember which trip it was, but we did a number of them out to Edmonton just to pick up the troops, bring them to Trenton, and then put a fresh crew on, and because we'd fly out and back in the same day, so pushing the edge of that. And, fresh crew on, and then continue on after a couple hour delay.
Okay. Do you know roughly when that happened?
So we were on the same crew?
The time you met, or the one time there, yeah?
It was soon after I got to the base, so I don't remember exactly, but I would say in the first couple of months, so August, September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you got that email notifying you that something had happened.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of a clear recollection as to how your schedule was going that week?
Well, I can't remember what day that the message came in. Just a second.
Making it up as he goes along.
He sure is. I was muted. We love you too, Bogart. Yeah, he's absolutely making up. It does appear that he's making it up as it goes along. And I wanted to point out to you guys, if you look at the camera angle that's to your top right, you can see that he's all the way in the corner. And then the interrogator person asking him questions is between him and the door, just like they did with Stearns. Like, if you find yourself in that place and you've done something, you might as well just ask for an attorney, because they got you. Like,
Exactly. Did you notice too that I forget where I learned this. It might have been the behavior panel. I'm not sure. They interviewed Jim Smith, by the way. It's a really good interview. But what they noted was that Jim Smith goes backwards in time with Russell. Instead of saying, what did you do Monday? What did you do Tuesday? What did you do Wednesday? He goes backwards. He starts Saturday, Friday, Thursday, and apparently it does something to the memory. Like they can't lie as well if they're going backwards in time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And that's really interesting. And I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, I think it was the behavior panel that taught me that.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And I'll have to take note of that and remember that. That's really interesting. I never would have even thought about, that something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And because you see him struggling. I mean, he probably had his whole story. This is what I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And now he's like, what the hell did I do on Friday? Oh, I had the stomach flu. It's something I ate. What did you do Thursday? Oh,
Right. Yeah.
So it's harder for him to do it that way, which is cool.
Yeah. I've also noticed him chewing that gum really, really hard. A couple of times.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember what day of the week, but I'm just thinking there was a whole bunch of activity spun up as a result, obviously. No, I can't remember the day of the week. I'm just trying to think through the news reports I read. No, I'm sorry, I can't remember what day that was, but what we learned after the fact was that the MPs had learned of her death, I think quite a bit after her body had been discovered.
Okay.
So I think what happened, I'm sorry, just a second. Okay. So I think, if I remember correctly, the MPs learned late that evening. Can't remember when, obviously, her body was discovered. It was probably in the news reports. But so they learned, and then they passed it to ops so they immediately passed it to me.
Okay.
The MPs work for the wing operations officer, so they go through their chain of command, and then as soon as the duty to watch officer had that information, she advised me.
Okay. So again, that
along
particular
with
week,
some others.
right. I'm sure it spread like wildfire.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that particular week, do you have any recollection? Well, for instance, when you got the email,
Yeah.
do you remember where you were?
I was at home in Tweed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember if that was a week that you were reasonably stable in Trenton, or had you flown?
No, I had been in Ottawa. Early in the week for some meetings over in Gatineau for one of the, it's actually for the C-17 acquisition. I was project director when I was here in Ottawa for that, so just some follow-up stuff for that.
Okay.
So I had been here at some point in that week. Again, I can't remember how the days all fell together, but I seem to remember that I got this word shortly after having come back from Ottawa. It seems to me it was the same week.
It's
So
like
if we were
pulling
to,
teeth, isn't it?
to-
Sorry.
No, you're good. I want you to do that. It is like pulling teeth. And I noticed a minute ago when they were asking him that question and he was like, thought for a minute and then breathed in and was like, okay, got it. It's like he remembered the lie he was going to tell about how he found out, because I mean, he
Yeah,
obviously found out by committing the homicide.
right.
And yeah, he's dancing around a lot of things. It is like pulling teeth to get any information out of him. Very interesting. Yeah, the interrogator being so dang calm is so interesting to me, said Indie Girl. It is.
Mhm.
It's definitely a tactic, because I mean, just by being able to advance in the military to such a high rank, it tells you a lot about the individual. And so they give the right interrogator to fit that individual's personality and make them feel most comfortable and able to speak and, tell the
Yeah.
story, whatever lie they're going to tell.
Yeah, I love this guy. He's brilliant,
He is.
you know.
I like him a lot too.
Do a similar investigation in your background. Is there anything you can think of that anybody may have misinterpreted, or anything in your history that somebody might say Russell Williams
Absolutely.
did this?
No.
Okay.
Be very boring.
What's that?
It'll be very boring.
He said absolutely not. No, nobody would say anything while shaking his head yes. That's another thing that they do. They'll give you the actual answer without saying it.
Yes, yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of times you notice if you ask somebody a question, either they'll subconsciously shake their head and to the correct answer while saying, like, like he did. He was shaking his head yes, but saying no at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because essentially that's what I'm looking at. Is that you seem like a very intelligent person, and I think you can see how a surprise like that would certainly set off some alarm bells in our investigation, right? Okay. So the next thing we need to cover off is, I'll just ask you this straight out. Given the types of crimes we're investigating, do you get much chance to watch television shows, CSI, things like that?
I do watch, I prefer Law and Order, but I do watch CSI occasionally, yes.
Okay. So you have an idea of, obviously, the forensic capabilities, things like that are out there. What would you be willing to give me today to help me move past you in this investigation?
What do you need?
Well, would you be willing to supply things like fingerprints, blood samples,
Sure.
things like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Footwear impressions?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
See,
I
yes,
think that's what we're gonna.
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. See, when the guy goes, when the detective said, your footwear impressions, he looked down at his feet because he's wearing the same boots that he was wearing when he went and attacked Jessica. And he just looked down at his shoes. So that was pointed out too. That's not from me. That's, I think, also from the behavior panel or another documentary that I saw. He looks down at his feet. You're like, oh shit.
Yep. And I love that he did that and realized that. I wonder what's gonna. I haven't seen this. I'm watching it with you guys for the first time, so I wonder when it comes to actually taking the foot impressions, what's going to happen. I think we might have did. No, it wasn't this guy. I thought it was this guy, but it wasn't. It was another pilot who was murdering indigenous women in a hotel room that I thought was this. So I have not seen this one at all. I wonder what's going to happen when they go to take his shoes.
Mm-hmm. You'll see.
Sorry, love. Go ahead.
No, I said you'll see.
Oh yeah. Anders said he's got the sour lemon face. He does.
Hey, did you notice too that sour lemon face, and he looks red to me now. His face compared to his arm. Sorry, I'm spitting here.
No, you're okay.
But he looks like he's more red than he was at the beginning.
Yes, he does look visibly more flushed to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe this is from 2010. Yes, Veronica.
Yep.
Yep, it's actually February 7th, it appears, 2010.
We're going to ask you to do.
Okay.
All right. Now, we have a process we have to go through to do that.
Okay.
And for the blood sample, I don't take the blood sample. We have specially trained officers that are trained to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to step out and make sure they're still available.
Can I assume you're going to be discreet?
It's possible. Yeah.
Because, this would have a very significant impact on the base if they thought you thought I did this.
Well, bottom line, Russell, that's one of the reasons we're here on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
The military certainly be of great assistance to us, especially in relation to Ms. Comeau's investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's certainly one of the things that went into our decision to give you a call at home today and see if we could deal with this today.
Okay.
So, okay.
He's really concerned about what the military base is going to think with him being a suspect in this crime, but that thought never crossed his mind while he was committing the crimes. So
Exactly.
I'm going to need him to take a couple seats on that one.
Mm-hmm. And look, his arms are crossed now. Like, oh.
Yep.
So this wasn't about Larry Jones. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He's very closed off and guarded. He's starting to realize the walls are closing in. Yep.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to undo the rumor mill once it gets started. But I appreciate that.
Okay. Now that you've had some time to, I know we've been throwing a lot of things at you here, but now you've had some time to think about things. Is there anything that you're concerned about that buccal swab matching in any of those 4 residences? Is there, I guess, let me explain what I'm getting at here, Russell, okay? This is a significant investigation, as you can well imagine.
Yeah.
That DNA is going to be significant in our investigation, both, quite possibly to help you, quite possibly to help us.
Understood.
I don't know yet. I don't know what the result is yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go back to the example I gave you because it's a very similar issue, I think. And you talked about the idea of discretion here. Okay. Mm-hmm. You talked about the idea that, I think hopefully you appreciate the fact of how we approached you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And essentially, we have no issues with that. Okay. We talked recently about, the whole idea of any unusual sex acts in your history. Mm-hmm. But another thing that can often happen in cases like this is that people become concerned about things like extramarital affairs, mm-hmm. Indiscretions along those lines. Mm-hmm. Is there any contact that you may have had with any of those 4 women that you may not want your wife to be aware of, anything like that we should know about to try and explain why, if your DNA is found, it would help us understand why it may be there?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Can you think of any?
So he just gave him an out, a kind of out by, I'm assuming it's the 2 women that the homicide were committed on, and then the 2 women who lived. But he was offering him an out by saying, did you have an affair with them or anything? And he still didn't take that bait either.
Exactly. And then he shuffled in his chair. He's all, taking in deep breath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I'd love to know what was in his mind,
Oh, Yes, me and you both. Like
Mm-hmm.
in all of these kind of interrogations and things, I would love to know exactly what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Any reason why we would find your DNA in any of those residences? Let's focus on, well, for instance, I believe. Let me just check the name there, make sure I've got the right address. I'm talking about the house that was just a couple of doors down from you there in Tweed.
A couple of doors down was
The,
Lori. I don't know her last name. I don't know.
Mazzacati?
I don't even know what her last name is. But there's the woman down the road, 3 doors down.
Yeah.
Her name is Lori. I don't know her last name.
All right, let me just make sure we're on the same page here. Okay. My understanding is she lived at 76 Cozy Cove. Yeah, so she would be the second one. The second incident on your road there.
Yeah.
A couple of doors down. Ever been in her house?
No. We met her once, I think the first summer we were there, so in 2004.
Okay. And that's what I'm getting at. Again, this is a credibility issue, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to come and see you 2 weeks from now and say, Russ, our CSI people were in that house. And are you familiar with how DNA works?
I think broadly, yes, I would guess so.
One of the challenges we have in 2010 with DNA is it's become so precise that I guess the best way to explain it is I can think back to 15 years ago when I started in violent crime investigation.
Yeah.
For us to get a DNA match, the sample we had to find was, probably would have filled half of one of these cups. Because they destroy so much of the sample in the testing.
Okay.
Essentially, DNA has become more and more precise to the point where when you and I walked in this room earlier today, we could have sat down, talked for 30 seconds, walked out. CSI officer could have come in 3-4 days from now, did some swabs here, and he would have found your DNA and my DNA, and probably a lot of other people's DNA.
Sure.
A little bit gross to think about, but essentially, as we talk, a little bit aspirate comes out of our mouth that contains our DNA, or blood, or our skin cells contain our DNA, and that's what I'm getting at. If you were ever in Lori's residence, quite possibly, quite innocently, your DNA could be in that residence. Has there ever been a time you've been in there?
No.
Okay.
He's again like giving him an out. He's basically saying pretty much, I'm pretty sure that we found your DNA in this woman's house, and I'm trying to give you a way to explain that away, and he's still not taking it.
Yep. He thinks he's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Very cocky. Hey, Cajun Juju.
What about the other lady down the road on?
I hadn't even heard that name, so no, I don't actually know who that was.
Okay. Have you ever visited Marie France Comeau at her residence?
No.
Okay. All right. So you're quite positive there would be no reason why your DNA would be in any of those 3 locations. Okay. Did you know Jessica Lloyd even in passing for any reason?
No, I didn't hear her name till it was on the news.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking that is because I know you were asked that question on Thursday night, and sometimes what we find, and again, this is one of those situations that can sometimes cause us to get in a lengthy investigation as somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it. But what can happen sometimes is somebody gets stopped by the police like you did, and they get asked that question, and people, when they're stopped by the police, they can be nervous. Okay. So they blurt out an answer, and then they start driving away, and they go, oh, why'd I do that? Because the problem is once they get asked again, then they feel compelled to maintain that answer for fear that if they change their answer, somebody could find it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. So I want to make sure that's not happening here. I don't care what you said to the officers on Thursday night last week. If there's any communication or contact between you and Jessica Lloyd, you've seen her picture, right? Around town?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Ever seen her before?
I don't. No, I would say I have not.
Okay. All right. All right. And you mentioned something about doing some renovations at your property in Tweed there. I think you said something earlier about tearing up carpet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Oh yeah.
okay. When did all that happen?
In 2004 or 5.
Okay. Any recent renovations?
No.
Okay. All right.
The way he said that in 2004 or 5, you could see he's getting agitated.
Mm-hmm. He's frowning now.
Mm-hmm.
No
think-
more smile.
Yep, he's finally figuring out that the walls are closing in on him. Princess Pillow said cycles like this genuinely think they are a million times smarter than everyone else. We are all living in their world. They make
Mhm.
mistakes they should honestly be smart enough to avoid. Thank God.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yep. Cindy from sunny South Florida said, I just got here, but someone should have told him denial is not a river in Egypt. Yep.
It's funny. I love our chat. They're so funny.
I do too. I love our chat too. You guys, I mean, I say it all the time, but I could talk to myself for hours. You guys are what makes it great. Like, I love our chat. I love how, I mean, we really do have the best chat on YouTube, in my opinion.
I agree. It's our family.
Yep. The speculating family.
Mhm.
Just want to make sure I'm covering all the bases here. Okay. How much tires do you have on your Pathfinder?
Dun dun dun.
I think they're
Yep. He just took a deep breath out. Scratching his neck too. He's nervous as crap.
Fixing his bra.
You know, he could be.
Toyo.
Okay. Do you know the brand name or sorry,
I
the
think that
make?
is I don't know. I'm sorry, the make is Toyo.
Yeah.
I don't know the model.
Okay. Just see, I'll read this off to you, see if it rings a bell. Ever heard of, does Toyo Open Country HTS
Yeah, that sounds
make any
right.
sense?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you have those tires put on your Pathfinder?
Well, it's the second version we've had of them, so I think it might have been this past fall. They replaced other ones we had on the same.
Okay.
Well, Toyo, I can't say that they were the same, exactly the same model, but our dealership here in Ottawa says they're very popular for the Pathfinders.
Okay.
And they were good. They lasted a long time.
All right.
Bogart asked what did his wife say about this. If I had to guess, I would think that she's kind of like hidden from the public and not wanted to be out in public. I mean, I really think that she's probably devastated about all this. I would think she probably didn't know any of this was going to happen, and probably
Yeah,
moved or something.
they divorced in 2014, I think. So this happened in 2010. Divorced in 2014. She remained director at the Heart and Stroke Foundation, I think, but she could be retired by now. You know,
Okay.
2025 now. So I don't know.
So do you know if she like supported him for 4 years and thought he was innocent, or did it just take that long to get the divorce? Or
She never really talked to anyone, so nobody really knows. But what I think, if I remember correctly, is that she gets his pension. They were not able to take his pension away from him. So she was getting something like 60 grand a year or something like that. But she never really spoke. She was never interviewed or anything like that. She stayed pretty low key. So I don't know. I don't know what she thought, you know. I'd love to know.
Right.
You know, she I don't know if she sued, but she demanded money from the police when they searched her home because they scratched her floor. It's like,
Oh wow.
really, lady, you know.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
That's you were talking about the whole idea of the MPs helping us with our investigation stuff like this. You have the same system as we do at our headquarters with the swipe cards.
Mhm.
one of the things one of our investigators did is they made a call while I was talking to you there, because we were trying to work through that week of the 23rd of November.
Okay.
23rd being the Monday, 24th being the Tuesday.
Okay.
What they've told us is that, and I want to make sure I get this right, is that on the 23rd, your swipe card was being used at the base. Okay.
Okay.
On Tuesday, 24th, there was no use of your swipe card.
Okay.
And then on the following days, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there was what appeared to be average activity of your
Okay.
swipe card in the base. Does that make sense to you?
It does. That says that I was in Ottawa on the Tuesday.
Okay. Do you remember where in Ottawa you were?
Yeah, I was in Gatineau with, as I said, meeting about the C-17.
Okay. Now, again, I want to be fair to you here. We're going back 2 months.
Yeah.
Are you sure that would have been the day you were in Ottawa?
Well, only because I wasn't at the base.
Okay.
So I can't remember, honestly, that's the day I had the meeting in Ottawa. But if I wasn't at the base, it was because I was here.
Okay. Now, if that is the day you had a meeting in Ottawa, do you remember being at the base on the Monday, the 23rd, and swiping your card in and out? Do you remember what you would have done that evening to get to Ottawa for that meeting? Like, would it be...
I drove to Ottawa in the morning of the day of my meeting. So if it was the Tuesday, then I would have left Tweed. It was a very foggy morning.
Okay.
That morning. And I drove in that morning.
Okay.
So I would not have been at the base the day I was in Ottawa, because the meeting started at 8:30 or something.
Okay. So you leave the base. You would have went home to your residence in Tweed.
Yep.
And then you left Tweed in the morning and drove up to your meeting in Ottawa.
Yep.
Okay. You leave the meeting in Ottawa is a daytime meeting, evening meeting, or do you remember?
Yeah, it was a daytime meeting, finished, I don't know, mid-afternoon or so.
Okay.
We had lunch and then finished. I think my wife and I had dinner because she was here for work, and then I headed back.
Okay. Well, these are the kind of things I'm trying to draw out here. That's helpful to us. Do you remember where you had dinner?
Well, I don't remember exactly the restaurant, but it was in Westboro because that's where our house was being built at the time. So we had dinner, in a restaurant that we would expect to be able to frequent once the house was finished.
Okay. Remember how you paid?
One of us would have paid by MasterCard. Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure about that, or?
Pretty sure. That's normally how we we pay for meals.
All right.
Can't remember if it was me or my wife that paid, but one of us.
Okay. And do you remember which restaurant it was again?
No.
Okay. All right. And you see what I'm getting at, right? I mean, that can be very helpful for us because if we can track that issue, right? We can put somebody paying for a meal at a location.
Well, I was meeting with 15 people or so that day. So
okay. What time did the meeting end?
I would say between 3 and 4.
Okay. And are you sure that that's the same day you went out with your wife?
Well, I think so. Yeah, because she was here, and I think that was the day we went to this restaurant in Westboro. Yes.
Okay.
He's using just like starts, I think if I recall, like ways to say, if they catch you that you're lying, you can say, well, basically I said I thought, I wasn't sure.
Right.
Criminals will do that a lot.
You reminded me of Jen Soto earlier when he said, I want to say, I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same.
Absolutely. Yep,
Bad
they are.
people. Yeah.
Linda said, I think so too. Wearing women's clothes could be a way of being close to the mother, even though they didn't have a good relationship, and other violence is getting revenge. I think that's really accurate and very possible.
That's a great point. Yeah.
It was his victim's lingerie. Yep. A name here. And it's good to see you.
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to wear women's underwear, go buy some.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not what he wanted.
No, he got the thrill out of taking the stuff and the victim not realizing it was gone, or the fear that put into the victim knowing their personal items were gone.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me to learn that it wouldn't surprise me to learn later on down the road that he had taken like adult toys or a number of other adult private items that you don't share, that are personal, like that you don't share, with
Right.
right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember seeing pictures of stuff like that, but I mean, they didn't show everything, right? So.
Right. Yeah, and they probably wouldn't to keep,
Yeah.
the victim's sanity.
Yeah.
I would
Yes. Exactly.
right. I wouldn't want I'm sure they wouldn't want things like that out in the public. And they don't deserve that after being a victim of him. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
You finished dinner, and do you remember what you did that evening?
I would have driven back to Tweed.
Okay. And you would have, now, again, I know we're talking 2 months ago here, but do you remember specifically having dinner and then driving back to Tweed, or do you remember, are you just guessing here?
No, I'm not really guessing. I mean, I believe that this night at this restaurant was following the meetings in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
And I, kissed my wife goodbye and headed back to Tweed to go to work the next day.
Okay. All right. The tires that you have on your truck, right? The reason I asked you about that is there any time, I mean, you recall where you were stopped by the officers there?
Yes.
Okay. Did they explain to you what the significance of
that was her house?
That was her house.
Yeah.
Okay. So you remember that location?
Yep.
Do you remember what the crossroad was, or?
I don't think there was a crossroad. It's sort of just on the south end of 37.
Okay. When you get stopped at that location, has there been a time in the recent 1 or 2 weeks that your vehicle has left that road for any reason whatsoever? Have you driven into a field with your vehicle at all? For any reason you can think of?
No.
Okay. Because I want you to rack your brain here. This is important. So,
Yeah.
Is there anything you can remember doing that would have caused you to drive off the road
No.
at that section of roadway?
No, that's my that's the early part of the highway, and just head north. It's about 30 minutes from there to, probably 20 from there to my house.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know that when the CSI officers were looking around her property, that they identified a set of tire tracks to the north of her property? Looks as if the vehicle left the road and drove along the north tree line of Jessica Lloyd's property. Okay. They took, they examined those tire tracks. And they have contacts in the tire business. Obviously, tire tracks are a major source of evidence for us.
Sure.
Shortly after this investigation started, they identified those tires as the same tires on your Pathfinder.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. One of the other things that they do to try and identify the type of vehicle.
So he's closed off right now, and he knows they've got him, and he's just really and shook his head. And then okay.
And there was more because his footprints were in the snow too.
Mm-hmm. And he has no way to explain that away.
No.
Especially on the spot like that.
Yeah, he was seen by a couple of gentlemen who were driving past. So he was not seen. His car was seen at the north end of Jessica's property, and so I think they reported it. Don't remember all the details right now, but yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Vehicle that may have left those tires. Well, as they do two things. They talk to witnesses. Okay. There was a female police officer that actually drove by that location that evening and recalls seeing an SUV type vehicle in the field up to the north of Jessica Lloyd's house, consistent with a Pathfinder.
Okay.
Could maybe consistent with other things, but consistent with a Pathfinder. And they, what they also do to try and identify the type of the vehicle is they look at what they call the wheelbase width, okay? Because different vehicles, different makes, models have wheelbase width. So they can take those two sets of tire tracks, measure the distance between them, okay, and determine what the width is.
Sure.
And then they can enter that into a vehicle database, and it will spit out the types of vehicles, okay? Your Pathfinder's wheelbase width is very, very close to the width of the tires that were left in that field. Okay. Do you have any recollection at all of being off that road?
No, it's not off the road, no.
Okay.
Why lie?
Russell,
Yeah, they've already caught him, and they know that he was there, and his truck was off the road, and you notice how the interrogator leans forward, but he already admitted to so much. Like, why are you lying now?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, hi,
Makes no
Irene.
sense.
I don't see all of chat. I just see what's on the screen.
Yeah,
Or what-
I'm trying to make sure I highlight it for you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Anders said, do they read the rights in Canada? Like, tell it. I mean, they did say in the beginning that he had the opportunity to speak to a lawyer over the phone, so I would think so. They notified him of his rights.
Yeah, there's similar rights, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You're so sweet.
Oh, you are. I like the flamingo on the top.
Yeah, I've got to get some more of those emoji type things made. It's like little emojis, and then I remove the background. I'm working on learning more editing techniques and things like that to try to make.
Oh, that's cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh, he then said, Abelis, I absolutely love your accent.
No,
I think all
I
of us.
don't. Thank you.
is there anything you can think of? Let's go talk about Marie-France Comeau for a minute, okay? Is there any reason at all you can think of that during our investigation, obviously we're searching computers, things like Blackberries, right? Electronic devices, looking through houses for things that are in handwriting, written notes, diaries, things like that. Now, I'm not at liberty to tell you what the content was, but is there any reason at all you can think of why Marie-France Comeau would have specifically referenced you in some of her writings?
Not at all.
No?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Is there anything that she ever said to you that led you to believe that there might be something more than a passing interest with her towards you?
Not at all. No, we spent, one flight together talking. I'd go back occasionally and talk. No, if that's the case, that's very surprising.
Okay. All right. You have any questions for me right now?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to step out and see how things are going. Okay. I mean, it is a.
So that's interesting. Did she write about him, or did she have some kind of crush on him?
I've never heard more about that. I doubt it because she had an ex-boyfriend. I don't know. It's weird. I'm not sure. I don't know what came of that, if anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a Sunday, but there's probably 60, 70 people working on this file, so there's a lot of things happening.
Sure.
So let me go out and see what's happening, and then I'll come back in and we'll hopefully continue. Okay? I told you when I came in here that I'm going to treat you with respect, and I've asked you to do the same for me. We talked about the whole idea of how we've approached you here. Okay, the trying to be as discreet as possible. Okay, but the problem is, Russell, is every time I walk out of this room, there's another issue that comes up. Okay, and it's not issues that point away from you; it's issues that point at you. Okay, and I want you to see what I mean. All right. This is the footwear impression of the person who approached the rear of Jessica Lloyd's house on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is slightly smaller, okay, in scale. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's not to scale. That's the footwear is actually bigger.
Okay.
If you look here on the ruler, you'll see that 1 inch is just slightly smaller than an actual inch.
Okay.
Okay. But this is the way it prints off on the computer.
Yeah.
I'm going to move this over so you can see what I mean. All right. Because essentially, when you're dealing with footwear impressions, we have a gentleman on the OPP who's basically world renowned. His name is John Norman.
Mhm.
And essentially, with footwear impressions, you're in a situation where you're pretty much in the area of fingerprints.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. And essentially, what we're talking about here is, especially when you start adding in other pieces of information that support an investigative position.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a photocopy of the boot that you took off your foot.
Yeah.
Just a little while ago. Okay. Now, I'm not an expert in footwear impressions, so I rely on the experts. Footwear impressions are very much like fingerprint comparisons. Okay. You take a look at this print, and again, this is one print. This person walked through. There's several different prints to compare.
Mhm.
So we're going to get features off of one print to compare, features off another print to compare.
Yeah.
These are identical. Okay. Your vehicle drove up the side of Jessica Lloyd's house. Your boots.
He's still staring at it like and shaking his head. I mean, obviously he knows the answer, but just trying to seem completely perplexed by the situation.
Yeah. One funny thing I heard is apparently there is no such expert as John Norman. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but they said that he lied. He was just, they can lie. So,
Yeah,
he's
they
a
can.
world-renowned footprint expert. Doesn't exist. I'm not sure if it's true, but that's what I heard.
Right. I'll look it up while we listen and let you know.
Oh, okay, that's great. Thanks.
You said his name is I caught it. It was John what? It just slipped my mind.
John Norman.
John Norman. Okay.
Norman. Yeah.
Walked to the back of Jessica Lloyd's house on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January. Okay. You want discretion. We need to have some honesty. Okay. Because this is getting out of control really fast, Russell. Okay. Really, really fast.
He's just staring at the thing.
This is getting beyond my control.
He is. I've seen Michael Norenberg and then Edmund Locard and Matthias Wackernagel and William Rees is what I'm seeing. I do not see that person's name.
Well, that's funny.
That is funny.
If it's true, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Control. All right. I came in here a few hours ago and I called you the way I called you today because I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
But you and I both know you were at Jessica Lloyd's house. And I need to know why.
Shaking his head, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not going to change, Russell.
And that's what he's praying for. He's praying for it to just change and everything to go away and him to be back in control again.
Yeah. You can go home to dinner
Yep.
and see
Bad girl
it's already. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay.
That's funny. Bad girl, you're funny. But
What were you going to say?
I was going to say the time now on their clock is 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:06.
Yep. Okay, so he's been in there for 3 hours at this point.
Mhm.
Around 3 hours. I can't believe that, like, they got to this point in 3 hours and the interrogation is a total of 10. Like,
Mhm. I think it's 10. Yeah, I think it's 10 total.
that's insane. Like, he's
Well,
still gonna deny for however many hours.
well, I don't want to tell the story, but not really. You'll see in a few minutes.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know what to say. It's
Well, you need to explain it because this is the other problem we're having, Russell. Okay. Again, these decisions are made by me. Right now, there's a search warrant being executed at your residence in Ottawa. Okay. So your wife now knows what's going on. There's a search warrant being executed at your residence in Tweed, and your vehicle's been seized. Okay. You and I both know they're going to find evidence that links you to these situations. Okay. You and I both know that the unknown offender mailed DNA on Marie France Comeau's body.
That's this audio, it's not us that's being so loud, so I do apologize about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has a little microphone on the table itself. So whenever he moves his fingers or the paper, we hear it really, it's loud.
Okay. Thank you.
It's going to be matched to you, quite possibly before the evening's over. Okay? This is a major investigation. The Center of Forensic Sciences is on call 24 hours a day helping us with this. Your opportunity to take some control here and to have some explanation that anybody is going to believe is quickly expiring. Okay? We're applying, the investigators now applying for a warrant to search your office. All right, these aren't decisions that we can say yes or no to. This is the practical steps in an investigation like this. And Russell,
Cracks his jaw.
Russell,
Mm-hmm.
listen to me for a second, okay? When that evidence comes in, when that DNA match, when that phone rings and somebody knocks on this door, your credibility is gone, okay? Because this is how credibility works, all right? And I know you're an intelligent person and you probably don't need to hear this explanation, but I also know your mind's racing right now, okay? Because I've sat across a lot of people in your position over the years, okay? The bottom line is that as soon as we get that piece of evidence that solidifies it, DNA, okay? As soon as the expert in footwear impressions, the expert in tire impressions calls and says, yes, I've examined those and they're a match, it's all over. Because as soon as that happens, where's your credibility? Where's your believability? You're just another, and again, don't take this wrong, okay? But you can see if you step outside this room in your mind and imagine how people are going to view you, okay? If the truth comes out after the clear evidence is presented to you, when you finally go, okay, I'm screwed now, what are we going to do? Russell, you know there's only one option. What other option is there?
What's the option?
Well, I don't think you want the cold-blooded psychopath option. I might be wrong. Okay, because don't get me wrong, I've met guys who actually kind of enjoyed the notoriety, got off on it, got off on having that label. Bernardo being one of them. I don't see
See,
that.
there's something
If I saw that in
interesting
you, I
about.
wouldn't be back in here talking to you.
Do what?
I was going to say, some people think that he was friends with Paul Bernardo, who raped people in that area as well. But he wasn't. They say this because they went to the same university. But Bernardo, I think, was 2 years either ahead of him or behind him. And it's a university that you don't know every student, but people sort of connected the dots and thought, well, they're both rapists, and maybe they knew each other. But anyway, that's just a rumor that was going around.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
I
Veronica
don't know.
said,
Oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Go ahead. No,
No,
you're
I was
good.
just saying, I don't know if it's true or not. So I'm just repeating tales I heard.
Yeah, I would think that they're probably not related. They probably didn't know each other. I mean, a lot of people a lot of serial killers have gone to the same universities and things like that. And
Yeah,
never knew each other.
exactly. It's,
Hey, Kalisa. Veronica said, when were his sexy pictures taken compared to this date in 2010? Were they the same year he got caught? Do you know?
Well, they say he started in 2009 doing all this stuff. So, so this is February of 2010 now when he's caught. And yeah, it goes back to the previous year and maybe further back. I'm not exactly sure on the dates when they knew that he had broken into 84, 85 or 86 houses. But I think it was 2009 from what I remember. I could be wrong.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
India, quite frankly. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you got me fooled. I don't know. This is over. And it can have a bad ending where Jessica's parents continue to wonder where her daughter's lying. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's a huge search still underway, and it'll continue. It'll continue until her body's found. That might even happen tonight, for all I know. Once that happens, then I don't know what other cards you would have to play. So what are we going to do? Russell, what are we going to do?
His whole world is crashing down and he just don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. They're from Mary.
Yeah.
How very sweet.
Hi, Mr. Peck.
Hey.
Do you want to cut them in half?
I think
And
they're like cranberry with cream cheese or something like that. And
so, yeah, I have my neighbor, she does TikTok videos and she's like a master baker. Like she went on a game show for it and she makes us cookies all the time.
Wow. Holy.
Yeah.
Okay,
really,
we'll have one.
I wish I could give y'all some. They look really good. She makes them for her TikTok videos, but then she'll give them to the kids and us. So it's really,
Nice.
yeah, she made like a sugar spider for a cake. It was insane. The thing she can do is insane.
Wow.
So she's been bringing us cookies like every day this week because she's making content for her TikTok.
Nice. That's handy.
Yes, it's very
Mhm.
nice. All right, I'm gonna give them to him to give to the kids. So I'm gonna mute for a minute. Yeah, I'm very fortunate, y'all. I'm so blessed with you guys and with the people around me, and I'm very fortunate, and I'm very thankful for each and every one of you guys and everybody.
And,
I'm very lucky.
and Basil and McDaddy and the goats.
Yes, I love it.
Call me Russ, please.
Okay. What are we gonna do, Russ? Is Jessica somewhere we can find her easily? Like, is this something where I can make a call and tell somebody to go to a location and they're going to find her, or is this something where we have to go and take a walk?
See how he's mirroring his hand?
I'm sorry, love. I was muted. What did you said? See how is he's what his hand?
He was mirroring his hand. He had his hand on his chin the way Russell had it.
Oh
He
wow.
keeps, yeah. If you go back 2 seconds, you'll see it. If you missed
Okay,
it.
I did.
Mm.
I was handing the kids the cookies. Okay.
Is Jessica somewhere we can find her easily?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this something where I can make a call and tell somebody to go to a location and they're going to find her, or is this something where we have to go and take a walk?
Like, does he think by just not answering he's gonna get out of it?
I don't know.
It's interesting to me that he never answers the questions.
But I like how Detective Smith talked to him about control. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because you've been saying all along it's control, and then when you started saying control, that's when he starts thinking, well, maybe I should take control
Yep.
and give my story the way I want to tell my story. You know.
Yep.
Which direction are we heading in here?
That's the 10-hour part. I'm just kidding.
Uh-huh.
Russ, maybe this would help. Can you tell me what the issue is you're struggling with? What's the issue you're struggling with?
Poor Russell.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to figure out because it's like, he won't answer the question. He won't even say anything.
Mm-hmm.
He don't know. I mean, he's realized he's finally caught.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been declared a danger to society like Paul B has? Said Bad Girl. I don't know. I think that was the other person y'all were talking about not too long ago.
Yeah, Bernardo. I guess. I mean, yeah, he's never getting out. For sure.
Right.
Poor Smith, he's probably starving.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to believe this is not.
Why is that? Why is it hard to believe?
It's just hard to believe.
Whose decision was it? And we're going to find out the answer to this anyway. But whose decision was it to issue the directive to the base personnel that nobody had to speak to the police and to seek legal counsel before they were questioned? It's
I don't think that was.
my understanding that direction came from somebody that reports to you. What do you think they're going to say, Russ?
No.
What do you think they're going to say? All right, and let's step back for a second here, okay? I really don't think it benefits you or makes you look any better to start debating the little issues.
No,
Okay?
but that is news to me.
Okay.
I have a legal officer that reports to me.
Yeah.
Who may have given that direction.
Okay.
But that's the first time I've heard it. If that's true, that's the first time I've heard that.
All right, and that may be the case, but how does it look? All right. We're not even dealing with something that's really even evidence because it's not needed. I mean, when you have DNA and all this other stuff, that's not even.
What was
really
the
an
direction?
issue. I don't recall, but it was something along the lines of telling the people on the base that they weren't required legally to speak with police and they should seek legal counsel before they decide to speak. But
well, if that was actually said, it would not have been to the base at large. It may have been to the individual, the boyfriend who was the suspect.
Okay, my understanding it went out to all personnel.
No, absolutely.
Maybe no, only under your command. I don't know. Okay, that's fine.
I didn't ever see it.
That's fine. Now let's get back to the issue. What's that?
So you talk about perception. My only two immediate concerns from a perception perspective are what my wife must be going through right now.
Yeah.
And the impact this is going to have on the Canadian forces.
Where do we go?
You should have thought of it sooner.
Right. Like, where was your concern for all that while you were out committing these heinous crimes?
Mm-hmm.
And wearing women's lingerie. I mean, I just...
Yeah.
He sues people? Like, Rhonda said, Russell likes to sue, so watch what you say allegedly, in my opinion, and etc. Does he really like to sue people?
Oh, I don't know. He's locked up. I don't know what he can do from inside. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Could be, Rhonda. I don't know. Yeah, I said it could be. I don't know. I don't think you can sue from inside, can you? I don't know.
I don't know. That's an interesting theory.
Can you
interesting.
imagine?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine getting sued by him for
Yeah.
playing this video, but I suppose well, I'll say allegedly in my opinion, but other than that, he'll have to get over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I
Allegedly in
mean,
my opinion.
yeah, stranger things have happened. So, I mean,
Mhm.
I think she did sue about for her flooring.
Yeah, the flooring that the
Yeah.
police scratched, which I don't know. To be with this person, you'd have to be a unique individual as well, and I'll leave that at
Hmm.
that. He has sued people and he still has his lawyer.
Oh,
Interesting.
really? That's interesting.
Excuse me. Well, haven't said anything that we can't prove. You know, he does like to wear lingerie, and he could possibly be wearing lingerie under a shirt.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think we'll be all right.
His
Thank you
little
though for that.
his little straps under his t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Why do
Thank
they all have striped t-shirts, by the way? A lot of these interviewees have striped t-shirts.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, I assume it looks like a chap's dress shirt, but
Hmm.
it is
Yeah.
interesting.
Hmm.
Trying to um make you perceive them as someone they're not.
Yeah.
Chris, is there anything you want from me? Is there anything you want me to explain? Is there something missing that you're struggling with that I can shed some light on for you?
So there's a law here in the United States, and it came from the Son of Sam. The Son of Sam wrote a book about what he did, or had somebody write a book, and he got paid a lot of money from that book in the movies and things like that. And so they made a law that, like, if you go to jail and write a book or do a movie about what your crimes were, you can't make money off of it. Do they have something like that there?
I think we do. Yes. One guy from here in BC, Olson, his family was paid $100,000 if he would, for him to speak. For him to reveal a few things, and so the Canadian people were just up in arms about that. But I think there is something where they can't make money. And this
Okay.
was his family. It wasn't himself. It was his wife, I think, who received $100,000. This is decades ago too, so that was a lot of money. It's a lot of money now, but it was a lot of money back then too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Rhonda, that's right.
Rhonda said you can't financially profit, but your family can.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
Kaz, no, he was not born in England. He was born in Canada.
No, he was born in England. They came to
Oh,
Canada later. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No,
Thank you for the correction.
yeah, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, they came to Canada when he was small.
Okay. Well, that's interesting too. I don't know why I hadn't caught that. Okay.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with how upset my wife is right now.
Chris, what are you looking for?
I'm concerned that they're tearing apart my wife's brand new house.
So am I. But if nobody tells them what's there and what's not, they don't have any choice. Computers will be brought to Microsoft in California. They'll be picked apart. You can't erase things from computers. It doesn't happen. I'm sure you've seen that. I'm sure that's pretty common knowledge these days. It just doesn't happen. They sell programs that to try and help people clean their computers of stuff, and our guys are pulling that stuff out all the time. The FBI is pulling that stuff out all the time. This investigation will end up costing no less than $10 million. Easy. and they will say no to nothing. Any request this major case manager makes on this case, they've already been told it's approved. Don't even bother asking.
Hey, all things curious.
So what am I doing, Russ? I put
He's
my best foot
mirroring
forward
him
here
again.
for you, bud.
He is.
Mhm.
I really have. I don't know what else to do to make you understand the impact of what's happening here. Do we talk?
I want to minimize the impact on my wife.
So do I.
So how do we do that?
Well, we start by telling the truth.
His forehead goatee.
Really?
Yeah, bad girl. Rebel Princess said this guy served with my friend's mom in Afghanistan. That's really
Wow.
interesting.
That's really
Thank you for
interesting.
sharing that. She said, and they were both stationed in Trenton. How interesting.
You should interview her.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I would love to talk to you about that and what you know and what you've been told. If you ever want to, you can email me and we can get together. I'll type my email in chat.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would. I would love that.
I keep wanting to glue a little house on his little patch of hair.
This creep lived about 3 hours from you, Darlene. That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Rebel, I'll type my my email in chat. Hey,
Hi,
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Good to see y'all. I appreciate y'all being here.
Are they still awake? Am I boring everybody to death?
Oh no, of course not.
Everybody's snoring.
No, this is interesting. I like seeing him panic. I like seeing his emotions and his reactions as he knows the walls are closing in. It's really interesting because so far it seems like he thinks, I mean, he was concerned about them tearing up his wife's house, which I mean she did later sue about, as we know, but it's interesting to see him because he's like, you know, it so far it's like if I don't answer, like he's just not even saying anything or answering the questions, or like he won't say anything as so far, and I've not seen that before. He's not even trying to deny it that much at this point.
Yeah. You know what I like? I like being able to really see him. They did a great job
Yeah,
with the cameras.
they did.
But yeah, he's just sitting there like a bump on a log.
He is. Rebel, what is the name of the book? Because Abelis might be interested in reading it. I can't read French, but she can, I'm sure.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying yes, I do. I read and write French. It's my first language,
That's so amazing.
as you
You're so
can tell by my accent. Mon accent.
Rebel Princess said her mom said he was very charming. Wow.
Huh.
How interesting.
Excuse me.
Okay.
So where is she?
You got a map?
Is she close to where she lives? I've got maps of that general area. Which town is she near? Why don't we start there?
It's what, 4.5 hours later?
I'm not sure if you give me a map of.
Yeah, it says 1942 p.m.
Yeah. And he's finally he's starting to confess,
Mm-hmm.
Covers Calabar down to the highway and over to Tweed and south. I'll show you.
Let me see what I got here. I might have something.
Oh, Rebel.
Is she inside, outside? It's probably the biggest area I have there, Russ.
Yeah, you need more. You need a real map.
So where am I going on here to get to her?
In this block here.
Okay. So you're pointing to.
A detailed map of that area, and I'll show you where she is.
Okay. Is she close to a road?
Yep.
All right. Is it something where is she buried, or is she somewhere where if you walk there you would fairly easily see her?
It's here.
Okay. So she's south of 7, east of Tweed, west of 41.
Mm-hmm.
And what's this road here?
Not sure.
Neither am I. Okay. I'll be right back, okay? Do you want any water or anything?
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back. How long has she been there for?
A little over a week.
Was it fairly quick from the time she left?
Friday night.
Friday night?
Yep.
So where was she between Thursday night and Friday night?
In Tweed.
With you?
Yep.
How long was she alive for?
Almost 24 hours, not quite.
Okay. Russ? You're doing the right thing here. Okay.
Well, again, my interest is in making my wife's life a little easier. And
Okay.
her family as well.
We share that
But
interest.
there's no, your time in Ottawa is wasted, really. I'll tell you where the membership cards are.
Where are they?
They're in the house there, but
In Ottawa?
Yep.
Whereabouts?
some in the camera bag, which they would have found in my office.
Mhm.
And when you walk into the office on the left side, there's a desk drawers, set
Okay.
of drawers, like a filing cabinet, wooden, IKEA. In one of the top 2 drawers, and there's a plastic divider.
Yeah.
And there's inside there are 2 memory cards,
Okay.
which are blank, but I'm sure they can be
And whose images are on those cards?
Well, I've erased.
So I was going to say, I wonder what made him start to finally confess, but he says that his concern is for his wife and her family.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think he means Jessica's family. I don't think it sounds like it's his wife's family, but I think he means the victim. I think. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not in his head, thank God, but
Right. It's
but I
interesting.
think oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's what I think. I think he's talking about the victims, not the wife.
Okay. It's interesting how I think it was Rebel Princess who was saying that he used to drive your mom home or something because it wasn't safe for women, or drive your friend's mom home. And I mean, he does seem to have some sort, I mean, by confessing now, he does seem to have some sort of sympathy. And with you saying that it could be the victim's family that he's referencing, that's interesting, that he does have some sort of sympathy for them now, or compassion by admitting to what he's done once he's finally caught.
Right. Yeah. Didn't Ed Kemper also drive girls home because
Yep.
if they were in danger? Yeah.
And picked up hitchhikers and things. Yep.
Yeah.
He sure did. Rebel Princess Abelis was saying that she don't think he'll ever get out though.
Yeah, no, he won't get out. And he's in a civilian prison. He's not in military prison, by the way. I don't think. Anyway, he wasn't when I was watching the interrogation. Sorry, I keep sniffling.
Oh, you're okay. I hope you feel okay. And I
Oh
hope
yeah, no, I'm all good. Yep.
Okay.
Erase them, but I expect you'll be able to draw images of Jessica and I.
What about Marie?
There may be images on there as well.
And the two women from September?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have those images stored anywhere else?
Yeah, there are 2 hard drives in the house in Ottawa. I can draw you a little picture if you like.
Sure. Do you want to do that now while I'm getting them out? Okay. Want anything to eat or anything? Leave that with you. Okay.
Oh wow, Bonnie, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. Bonnie said Kemper is down near me, one county over. He's one of the last in prison under the pre-Reagan criminally insane sentencing.
Mm-hmm. See, Jim Smith is going to leave the room, and he leaves them with a pen or a pencil, which I found really kind of weird. Williams did try to commit suicide, unalive himself when he was in prison by shoving a toilet roll cardboard thingy down his throat.
Oh, wow.
So they ended that really quickly and kept him safe from himself.
Interesting.
But I do want to talk to you again.
That's the plan. Okay.
Did you hear what he said?
No, I thought he said, but I do want to talk to you, and then that's the plan, but I forgot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that was correct or not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he wants to keep talking to Smith because he's built a rapport with him.
Oh, wow.
That's the thought, anyway.
I'll be right back. Can you make it out there? Thank you. Can you make it out?
All right.
Corey.
Corey.
Somebody running around looking for an actual map, but I did the same thing with the Google Maps. Just have to glue them up a little bit more.
His jaw is bugging him.
This is the,
He keeps
this is the
stretching it.
biggest of the area.
Do what?
Oh, sorry. No, he keeps stretching his jaw. I think his jaw is killing him.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
he's all, yeah, all
maybe
tensed
so
up
if
and
you're talking.
stressed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, this might have better parameters for you. Here's tweet.
Yes, Rhonda, I agree too.
Mm-hmm.
0.7 kilometer from this intersection on the side of the road.
And what road is that? Cary? No. South of, can't read that word. East Hungerford? Does that make sense? Oh, there it is there. Okay. How far off the road is she?
40 feet.
Is she covered with anything?
She's wrapped up.
In
She's
what?
on the surface. Just a gray something or other cover.
Barry, the obvious question I'm going to have for you is, when they go there, they'll be there shortly.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to find her.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'll be right back. You look like you want to say something.
Just that this place, my wife, it's been a dream for a better part of a year, so I'm keen to get them what they need and so they can leave her alone.
Okay. Well, we're going to do our best to keep that as low key as possible. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
It's pretty wide open now.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Well, do you want to work for?
It's interesting how concerned about his wife's new home he is. Like making sure
Mhm.
that she had the dream she wanted and doing this for her.
Yeah, they apparently were very much in love and for years and years, and you know, he was a great husband to her. Unbeknownst to her, he was doing all this other crap. But,
Right.
you know, but in pictures, you could see them. They're close together. You know, they're smiling. I mean, not that people smile in pictures all the time, but I mean, they do look like a kind of a nice couple. You know.
Right.
Mm.
Forwards or backwards?
Doesn't matter.
Why don't we start with Jessica? How does
We're
that
going to
start
have
for you?
some trigger warnings here from now on because he's going to be explaining a lot of things.
Okay. I'll put that banner up.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean,
everybody, trigger warning.
yeah, he's wide open now. Now he tells them what he did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Bad Girl asked, did she speak on his behalf in court? Do you know?
I don't think so. The court was mostly, there was no trial because he pled guilty, but it was
Okay.
more of I don't know what to call it, but they basically went over his crimes and then he was taken away and that was it. So I don't know if anybody spoke on his behalf. I don't know. She did divorce him, as I said earlier.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
I saw her in her house on her treadmill. Wednesday night, I guess. Then I noticed she wasn't there Thursday. So I got into the house to look around. Then when I left, noticed she'd come home. So I went back in through the back patio door while she was sleeping. Okay. So I woke her up. Didn't hit her. She only hit her once. Friday night. Okay. Well, so I raped her in her house, and then I took her to the car and took her to Tweed. And spent the day in Tweed. And then I hit her as we were walking. She thought we were leaving. Hit her on the back of the head. Okay. Anything in particular?
Well, what did the hit on the back of the head do?
Well, I was surprised that her skull gave way. She was there and immediately unconscious. And I strangled her.
Okay. What did you hit her with?
Flashlight.
Okay. In the house or outside the house?
Who knows? Yeah, they'll find signs of that.
Funny.
Where in the house did this happen?
In the main portion, just in front of the fireplace.
What do you mean they'll find signs?
Bonnie, I would help you clean it if I was there. His demeanor is very chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's quite a bit of blood. I hadn't expected. I'd expected to knock her out. But obviously generated a lot of blood.
What did she bleed onto?
The floor. It's just tile floor.
Did you clean it up or did you?
I wiped it up. I know it'll be easily spotted.
What makes you think that? Like, if I walked in that house right now, would I see it?
You wouldn't see it, not at all. But you know, the right science will show it, I'm sure.
Okay. So when that happened, did she have clothes on or was she naked? Or?
She was dressed.
Okay. So when we find her, is she gonna have those clothes on too?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Marie France Comeau.
There was an open window in the basement of her house when she was away. I went in there a couple of nights before she came home. Looked around. I went back in there late at night when she was at home. She was on the phone in her bedroom. She actually discovered me in the basement. She was trying to get her cat to come upstairs, and the cat was in the basement, had seen me and was fixated on me in the corner. She couldn't get the cat up, so she came downstairs trying to get the cat, and I'm not sure why she came over to me. I guess the cat was staring at me, and she was wondering what the cat was staring at. The lights were on.
That poor woman. I mean, going downstairs. Could you imagine, like, just trying to get your pet upstairs? Like, what are you doing? And
Yeah.
then, like, that fear coming over you, realizing that they're staring at something or someone in the corner.
Yeah. And he was wearing a mask or something on his face, some kind of headband over his face. And like I said before, she was naked. I think she was
Mhm.
only wearing a shawl when she went downstairs.
Mm.
So completely vulnerable to this piece of crap, you know?
Yeah.
So when she spotted me, I had the same flashlight. I subdued her, tied her up, brought her upstairs. And strangled her later in the morning. Well, more suffocated her. Some tape. Left her there.
How did you subdue her? When you say subdued her in the basement, what did you do?
Well, I had the same flashlight. And, you know, she saw me right away, so I was just I hit her a couple of times and around her head, try and knock her out. Didn't, but she was bleeding a little bit.
A little bit with blood everywhere.
Eventually, through struggles.
There was. Have you seen pictures of it where they went and searched the house afterwards?
Yeah, I've seen pictures of the basement where he had her tied up to a pole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just an open basement, not finished, but just floor and you know, the holding poles. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, a normal
Mhm.
basement.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a bed downstairs too, if I recall.
It's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Any blood from that struggle?
Oh yeah. No, not a whole bunch, but flashlight did break her skin a couple of times.
Okay. What area of the basement did that take place in?
I was hiding behind the furnace, so she spotted me right there.
Okay. Did she recognize you?
No, I had stuff on my face.
So you go upstairs, and you said she suffocated?
Well, I suffocated her. I put tape on her. I put tape on her mouth. And then I put tape on her nose and held it there so she couldn't breathe.
If y'all are not, I do ask that we respect everybody's thoughts, opinions, and speculations. If you aren't getting along with someone in chat, you can click their name, I think, and you can block them personally from each other. Just letting y'all know, because I don't want y'all to fight.
No fighting allowed.
We're
Basil
family.
will, yeah, we're family, and Basil will tap his feet.
He will thump. He thumped this morning. I loved it. It was so cute.
It's so cute when I love it when they do that. Thump, thump, thump. Aw.
What kind of tape was it?
Oh, Gray Moon. I just checked this morning before the stream. So Gray Moon said, breaking news, the judge denied the motion to keep the media out of Stephen Stern's trial. Thank you for dropping that one.
Yay. Woohoo.
Yes. I will upload
Good.
that to Patreon after the live. Thank you for sharing that.
What happened to it?
Well, I took it with me and
Thank you guys for letting me know. I appreciate that.
can't remember what actually I did with that tape, but probably threw it in the garbage.
But you got to remember that
Did you
through
use
all
tape for
this,
any other purposes?
he was filming everything. Like he was,
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about it.
yeah, he videotaped everything. Apparently there's him, abusing her and with a big smile on his face. He's such a creep.
Yeah. That's... I bet those tapes are scary. And the stuff
Mhm.
nightmares are made out of.
I'm hoping they destroyed a lot of that crap so it never gets leaked,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they do with this evidence once it's done, once he's confessed and he's locked up and everything.
Did she ever recognize you through this whole episode?
No.
What did you say you had on your face?
Just a cover for my head, just a sports pullover type, like just a little cap kind of thing.
Okay.
Just a lycra or something, and just a headband over my nose and mouth, so it covered most everything but my eyes.
Now this flashlight, where is that now?
Tweed.
In the house?
Yeah.
What kind of flashlight is it?
It's a red 3 double D. I'm not sure what brand it is, but it's a metal, one of these aluminum. It's like a big, I can't remember what brand of aircraft aluminum flashlights are. Anyway, it's a bigger one of those.
And he's surprised that her skull
Did you
cracked.
take anything out of Marie France's house or Jessica?
Yeah, I was muted. Yeah, I've noticed he's mentioned that a couple of times now.
Mm-hmm. And it's a big flashlight, like with the 3 double D batteries in it. That's heavy.
Like a magnolite. Oh my goodness.
Magnolite, yeah. And it was metal too, he said, I think.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Lloyd's house?
Yeah, some of their underwear.
Okay.
That's all.
And where is that?
Um, it's in some boxes in the basement here in Ottawa, in that rec room. So we just moved in, so there are boxes everywhere. So on the same side as the furnished room, sort of in the back against the wall.
Okay. What do the other boxes look like?
I think one's a scanner, the box for my scanner.
Mhm.
They're all right next to each other. So a quick look through the boxes there will find it.
Okay. How much underwear is in those boxes?
Mm-hmm.
Probably 60 pieces or so.
All women's?
Yeah, 60 pieces of theirs.
He's hiding his head. He doesn't.
Of whose?
Look at him. He's so nervous. He doesn't even want to answer
Yeah.
that question. Like he's real nervous about that.
You should say, yeah, I'm wearing 3 pairs right now.
Right. No, Cajun, you haven't been blocked, but that's the first comment I see. Sometimes it will YouTube will like not let your comments show up if it has certain words in it. So maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. People are talking to All Things Serious and Hiosendra, and I haven't seen them in the live at all. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Look at the top when he goes 60 pieces of hers. Like he's like flabbergasted that it's so many.
Yeah.
And it's just sitting in his basement, right? Like in a what did he say it was? A scanner box?
Yeah. That's
Pardon
interesting.
me. Is everybody hearing my tummy growl?
Oh no, I didn't hear your tummy growl. You need to eat something.
Yes,
You're here, Rubber, but that's the first comment I've seen. I will have to go soon, for the day, but we'll watch a little bit more of it before I have to go.
How much longer is there? Do you know? Can you see?
We're at 1 hour and 16 minutes out of 2 hours and 39 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'm gonna take the banner off because I'm sure we all understand that this is gonna be triggering. I want him to get through, like, because tomorrow I'll probably talk about Madeline again. So I want him to get through, like, so we get an idea of what he confesses to before we continue on, like, so that I can talk about Maddie tomorrow, and then hopefully like Saturday or Sunday we can continue on with this interrogation.
Okay. And I can come back if you want. That's great.
Okay. Yeah, I would love for you to come back up when we discuss it again.
Okay. I feel like I should say
Jessica's
over.
Do what?
I feel like I should say, at the end of my sentence, I should say over to you.
Copy.
Yeah, copy.
10-4, good buddy.
Many France.
So you took 60 pieces from between the two of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. And they're in like when you talk about scanner, is it a computer scanner box?
my computer scanner is up in the office, and its box is down in the basement. So
Okay.
it's inside that box.
Is any of the underwear in those boxes belong to anyone other than Marie-France or Jessica?
Yeah, there's some from each of the other 2 women.
Okay. Why don't we talk about those 2 women?
Mhm.
So the first one happened on the 16th, and I don't know why I can't recall their names, but the lady that was that lived closer to you.
No, Lori was closer to me.
Okay.
So the first one, I had just spotted her from our boat, actually. I got into the house while she was asleep, knows that she was alone. And just hit her with my hand while she was sleeping. Subdued her. Mostly just my weight on top of her. Had her take off her pajamas. Took some pictures. Took some of her underwear and left.
And the other woman?
Same kind of deal. Went in through the back of the house. She was sleeping in her, not in her bedroom, but in her, in front of the TV. Very much the same story.
Anything different about that story? Pretty much same story and exactly the same story, or two different things, right?
Yeah, no, not much different at all. I did have the flashlight that time. I hit her with a flashlight. Didn't think it would knock her out. Didn't. So, and I subdued her with my weight. Took off her clothes, took some pictures, and left.
Some pictures.
Why do you think these things happen? Have you spent much time thinking about that?
About why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really glad he asked him that question. And yeah, you said some pictures. Do you know how many there were total? Like, or was it in the thousands or anything? Do you know?
Oh, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I could look it up for next time. But he had
Okay,
hard
yeah, I'll
drives
look
all.
it up.
Yeah, like he had hard drives all over the place. So
Oh, wow.
pretty sure it was, because he took pictures and videos. Like he taped his
Hmm.
attacks on them.
Right. So it's probably a substantial about.
Yeah.
But I don't know the answers. And I'm pretty sure the answers don't matter.
Well, let me ask you this: did you like or dislike these women?
I didn't know any of them.
Okay.
I had met Maddie Faust that one time in our airplane.
Okay. No, I guess when you're going through these things,
Cajun, yes, he's been tried and gone to jail. This is a case I had not seen, and Abelis knew a lot about it, and we had talked about going over this together. So we're doing that today, and I'm enjoying it. But yeah, he has been tried and gone to jail. I've got a couple of cases that I have FOIA requested that have interested me, that have been tried, and the perpetrators have gone to jail. One of them is some teenagers out of Florida, and another one is about a girl out of New Mexico. And I'm hoping when things calm down, we can go over, I try to like change it up, like instead of doing Maddie all the time, every couple of days, I'll try to break it up and talk about something different, kind of let the chat calm down a little bit, and just have kind of a relaxing day. And so I like to talk about cases that have already been tried, and I've got a lot of information to put out on those. And so this is one of those days where we're just relaxing, and Abelis is educating me on this. So
Well, thank you. But yeah, like I said, I'm not an expert on it, but I've watched it so many times. But
yeah,
I was going to say, Cajun, this was in 2010, so he's been in prison now for 15 years.
Yeah.
are you Well, let's talk about Jessica, because she was there with you for the whole day, right?
Mhm.
What kind of feelings were you experiencing while you were with her that day?
Oh, she was a very nice girl.
Can you tell me why you killed her? Russ? Do you know why you killed her?
Well, I think I killed her because I knew that her story would be recognized.
Abelis is up here with me today from chat. That's
Hi.
who's up here.
Hello. Bonjour.
I love your accent so much.
Her story would be recognized? How do you mean?
Well, because she knew I was taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the two stories in Tweed, that would have been a fairly, been quite obvious.
So if you didn't take pictures, what would you have done with her?
I don't know.
I mean, she's at your house, right? Well, let me ask you this: is it?
Where I know you've told me. It's not Nova Scotia. I know it's an island, but I don't know the name of it.
Well, I live on Vancouver Island of the West Coast, but I was born in France.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm French from France, not Canadian French. I
Okay.
always say I'm not French Canadian, I'm Canadian French.
That's cool.
Makes sense. But I live on the West Coast, just
Okay.
a couple hundred miles from Seattle.
Oh wow. I've always wanted to go to Seattle too.
Oh, it's so pretty out here. Gosh.
I bet I'd be in love.
Mm-hmm.
Two lived, right? And two died. What was the difference in your mind between?
Well, the attention the first two got was very much focused on, obviously, or for obvious reasons, pictures I took. So anybody else telling stories about pictures, right, would have been a fairly straight line.
Okay, but
Hey, neighbor.
when this thing happened with Marie France, did you believe that you were already a suspect for what happened in Tweed?
No.
So what were you concerned about?
Well, because I was pretty sure that she was serving military, right?
Mm-hmm.
It would have been difficult for investigators to ignore that connection.
Okay. Yeah,
So he killed them. It doesn't make any sense. Sorry.
No, you're good. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I find it interesting how he's brought himself down to make himself seem like a human, though. Like he's just, he's answering all the questions because he knows he's caught now. But he seems like a pretty nice guy. Just talk, if he wasn't talking about a murder, and all the shit he did, like pretty
Yeah,
level headed.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he's smart, obviously, to get where he got, but
Right.
I mean, to say he killed them so they wouldn't be recognized, like what's worse, being known for taking pictures of women or killing two people? What's in his brain?
That's a big thing for me too with the Naziah Harris and Maddie Soto case too. It's like, I mean, would you not? I mean, I understand that you don't necessarily want to be known as a pedophile, but why not go to jail for those charges and just do your time and stay away from, schools and playgrounds instead of
Yeah,
going to jail and facing the death penalty for homicide,
exactly.
you know?
Over.
Let's go back to Jessica then. Okay. You see her on the Wednesday night. Okay. On a treadmill.
Mhm.
How do you see her?
She was in the basement, window wide open, on a treadmill. So I drove by.
See, sorry to interrupt again, but that's
Did you stop to
BS.
look at the house, or?
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I think that's BS because if you see the way the property is, the house is quite far back from the road, and he didn't he just say that he saw her on the treadmill down in the basement when he drove past. There's no way he had to be looking in the window. Is my thing, because if you see pictures of the house, it's almost like a field in front of it. It's so far back. Anyway, that's just my opinion.
No, you're good. We're gonna look at it actually because I'm gonna stop this interrogation right there since I am gonna have to go. So this is her house, right?
Which one is it?
Let's see.
I think the
Okay.
one, like the bottom line, second from the right.
Okay.
I'm on my phone too,
Okay.
so it's really tiny.
Yeah. I'm looking.
Yeah, go one over to the left.
This one?
Yeah, I think that's her house.
Okay, let's see.
Oh no, maybe that's Tweed. Oh, I don't know. Oh no, yeah, that's the cottage. No, it's not her house. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
his
pull
cottage.
this one real quick. Let me make sure y'all can see.
There are a couple of aerial photos of her house showing the field and showing where his car was, showing where the footsteps led when he went behind the house. Oh yeah, there.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can get rid of this. Yeah, there you go.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it
so
shows
see her
just
house is way up there.
mm-hmm.
So he couldn't see her
Yeah,
in
I
her
don't know.
basement driving on that street.
Yeah, I don't think so. You would have to be a lot closer because there's all of that yard, and then the basement's going to be like underground. And if you could see somebody, I would think it would be in the back if you could see somebody in the basement. And even at that, it's going to be a little tiny window.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like one of those narrow windows, I think,
Right. So it tells us the tire tracks were right here. His boot print was right here. So he parked the vehicle here and got out and walked. And then these are all his boot prints.
Yeah.
And
he went around the back.
he said, yeah, they said he probably observed her house from this tree line right here.
And then remember they talked about a policewoman earlier who saw his car in the field? Well, she went
Yeah.
up to the door. Yeah, she went up to the house and he saw her and he was spooked by her, from what I remember.
Oh, wow.
So she was there. Like he could have attacked her too, but no.
Yep, right here it says Russell Williams watched a car come and go before he entered Jessica Lloyd's house. Unbeknownst to him, the visitor who knocked on Lloyd's door was an OPP officer.
It's the Ontario Provincial Police.
Oh, wow. That is super
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, isn't it? Like, so she was right there and he was right there. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. So the other one was, I'm going to try to pull up the other girl's house too.
Marie-France.
Oh my goodness. Look at these pictures of her.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
And she was so happy. She had gone around the world with her job. You know, the military girl.
Yeah.
She had flown around the world. Her ex-boyfriend he's so in awe of that when you see him in the interviews with him. He really loved her, you could tell, the ex.
Yeah. That's so sad. I mean, I hate that. God. I mean, it's just, these things are awful. I'm going to try to, this one has a picture of some of the crime scenes, if I can, yeah. So that's where it tells you that Jessica Lloyd said, "I don't want to die. If I die, will you make sure my mom knows that I love her?"
Yeah.
That's so sad.
And Marie-France
Sometimes
also said something to the effect of, "I'm too young, I don't want to die," and things like that to him. He reported that, or maybe it was on video, I'm not sure.
Mm.
Oh, that's the brother.
Goodness.
That's Jessica's brother. Look how big he is. He's such a
He
sweetie.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. There's a
What's
lot of
his name?
advertisements, so it takes.
Right. Andy, I think.
Okay.
I remember.
Yep, Andy says Roxanne Lloyd Wright leaves the courthouse early with son Andy Lloyd left during the trial of Colonial Russell Williams in Bentonville, Ontario, Tuesday. That girl, Jessica Lloyd, was absolutely beautiful. Biggest, beautiful eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Marie-France's basement.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting they both had basements.
Yeah, there's a lot of basements in my house has a basement.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I want a house with a basement. My grandmother's house has a basement, but they're not quite as common up here.
That's
Or
interesting.
down here.
Way down.
I don't know if it will
Oh, there you go.
have loaded. Oh, my goodness. Wow,
This
that's a
is
lot.
him. Yeah, he did that. Like he arranged them like that. That's his work.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's interesting that the wife didn't see that anywhere.
Well, yeah, and in his boxes and stuff. Like what? Just so.
Oh, okay. So they were arranged like this, set in his boxes very carefully.
Yes, that's what I. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. It's tiny on my phone. Sorry. It looks like they're on a
no,
floor or something.
yeah, they are on the floor. So I thought that they were like laid out on the floor in a room, but I understand what you're saying now. Okay.
Okay.
He had 88 guilty pleas, y'all. And that might be the end of what it will load for me. But that was interesting. We got an idea of we got to see a couple of things, which is interesting. Okay, so I'll put the background back up. I have to take the background down sometimes because when I'm doing a video, it'll like skip sometimes. So I did take it down.
Oh,
We'll do
okay.
this one since I'm about to leave. I
Cool.
am going to get,
Great.
you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
I thought it was pretty too. I am going to pull some more information on that case and get some stuff together. And I would love to continue going over this case with you one day this weekend, if that's good with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is chat okay with that?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are.
I
And
can't see them.
I really appreciate you coming up and talking with me about this case. I really enjoyed having you up, and I know everybody's loved hearing your accent, as
Aw.
myself included.
Well, thank you very much. It's really fun being up here.
Yeah, you should do it more often. I love it.
Aw. Yeah, maybe we will. We'll get on more interrogations. I love them.
Yeah,
We should do Stephanie Lazarus would be a good one.
Stephanie Lazarus. I've got an actual notebook that I use for all of my stuff now, so I'll write it down in that one. I was just writing on random pieces of paper, and I would lose my stuff all the time.
No. Have you seen Stephanie's?
I don't think so.
Oh my goodness, you're in for a treat.
Okay. I wrote her name down, Stephanie Lazarus. We'll definitely look into that.
All right.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Thank you very much. So I'll hop off now. How do I leave?
You should have a button at the bottom that says leave studio or Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too. Bye. Bye everybody. Bye Basil. Mwah.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for being here with us today. I hope to see you back tomorrow. I do want to let you know that I do have to do something in the morning. So I plan on having our stream at the normal time. I should be back in time, but if heaven forbid something happened and I have to reschedule, I will make a post about it. I do plan on talking about Maddie again tomorrow. So I hope to see you. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It's been great. Thank you, Abelis. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. I love you all. Please know that you are special, you are important, and you are loved. And see you tomorrow. Be safe, everyone. Bye.